Hello. What's good, everybody? We got Joseph first. It's about time, y'all. It's been a minute. We doing a fantasy football. Yes, sir. We're gonna do fantasy football again. What's good, Mr. Jones? Oh, first of all, y'all should already know by now, but I got my brother Jalen in here.
What's going on, yo?
Good was good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We gonna talk a lot of basketball, especially basketball for agency, what has already happened, what we think is gonna happen, all that type of stuff. May get into some NFL stuff as well. And whatever questions y'all have, y'all know, man. We end up talking about music, anime, whatever. So, but we gonna start off with like NBA for agency. Seyi said he's gonna be on soon. So what's good, Mr. Jones? Yes, sir. What's good? Luck, Justin, J-Mon, what's good, y'all? Rich. Probably not gonna be able to start streaming. I'll be back soon. What's good, Jason? It's going to take Sign Anthony Barr to Washington. I think if anything, just time. I think that's just a time thing. Dim Skin Street Scores for ATLK. You give out DC vibes in your stream. What's good, man? I mean, again, my mom and them DMV. So Rico, I forgot to tell you, I got Mr. Jones got braces, and I know your football stuff is probably started up. J-Mon, Joseph, Mr. Jones. What's good, everybody? So yeah, man. I guess we can really start with Jalen checking in on his Celtics. We're gonna ignore the finals. We're gonna get into free agency. How you feel about free agency and everything?
Man, Malcolm Brogdon. Sorry, the addition of Malcolm Brogdon and Gallinari without losing a soul is just, it's perfect. You got another perimeter guy that is a playmaker that Tatum and Jalen desperately need. Especially, I don't know if you watch Jalen's ball handling, it's atrocious.
Oh yeah. Dribbling all over himself.
It's bad. And then you get another wing. I mean, he's more of a, big now with today's, size and stuff. But I mean, another wing guy, Gallinari, who's been in the league for 15 years now or something like that, or close to it for sure. He's and he can shoot. He's a certified bucket. I mean, I have literally no complaints. And like I just said, I think that's those two additions have made Boston the best offseason so far to any team in the NBA. I mean,
one thing about Gallinari, I'm gonna warn you though, that man misses the opens but makes the contested. He's like baby J.R. Smith a little bit. As a Hawks watcher, man, it was so frustrating, bro, with the Bucks series a couple of years ago and then the Heat series this past year, man.
You know who I never want on my team just because of what happened? One shot. Bogdanovich for the Jazz. I don't know if you've seen that shot on the last game of their series against the Mavericks. He missed the most wide open shot to set. I think it was to win the game and make a game 7, and he missed. And now it was absolutely terrible. But yeah, I don't want Bogdanovich on my team because of that. You didn't see that?
I don't remember it. I may not have watched it, man. I'm not even sure if I watched that one.
It was the Jazz Mavericks one.
Yeah. I might have been on Xbox at the same time. I don't even remember that. That's funny though. But yeah, I'm definitely with you, man. Because Gallinari, after the Spurs bought him out, I was hoping he would just go back to the Hawks. Like, hey, we traded you for free to get Dejounte Murray, then bring him back. I was hoping that's what they would do. But then he went to the Celtics and, hey, man, more power to y'all. That's great depth, veteran. And then man, the other signing, man. I if y'all had him, I didn't want to talk about the finals too much, but if y'all had Brogdon in the finals just now, that may have been enough of a difference because a lot of those games were really close. Yeah. It didn't go to a game 7, but the games were really close though.
Yeah, I mean, I love Marcus Smart to death, but like his strength isn't playmaking, and Brogdon's is. So like it would have made all the difference and coming up the floor and getting the ball out of Tatum's hands and Jalen's. Definitely out of
Definitely Jalen. Yeah. Definitely Jalen. I mean, he be hooping and he definitely has a lot of great moments. But yeah, when it comes to ball handling, it just seemed like that's what playoffs do. That's what the playoffs and the finals are for. Yeah. Teams look at your weaknesses and they try to abuse them. So they did what they could to try to get him to dribble. Yeah. But you dribble off his foot out of bounds
all the time. Especially Oladipo. I don't know what it was about Oladipo. He had him just flustered. But you brought up Murray to Atlanta, and I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Going forward, I think Murray is great as a triple-double threat. He's got some size at the guard position, and he's on a beautiful contract. I think he's making like $20 million for 5 years. Not total, but 20 a year basically. And
yeah.
I mean, that's great money compared, to some people like Lou Dort getting 20 mil. Like, that's crazy. But I just don't think him and Trae Young are going to be cohesive at all. I mean,
it's going to work.
I don't think Murray can sit off ball, and Trae Young is ball dominant. So
yeah,
it doesn't make sense as far as the future. But maybe he's the bridge where they just flip Dejounte Murray even this year.
Something else later.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that because his contract is very favorable and he's young, so it could be something very good for Atlanta, honestly.
No, I definitely see what you're saying. Like defensively, like I think he helps immediately with defense. But yeah, I mean, he's not like a great spot up shooter, and Trae Young's gonna have the ball all the time.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The baby Trae Young that's from Atlanta. I can't remember his name, but he's already supposed to be like a ball dominant backup guard. That's supposed to can't remember his name, right? I can't remember.
In Atlanta?
Name. Yeah, the backup that's supposed to be baby Trae Young. He's from Atlanta too, and we were all like happy when he went
Only
to the
guard
Hawks
I know
and
they got
everything.
is DeLon Wright.
Nah, bro, he had an awful season. I think he averaged like 1 point last season, 2 points, something like that. I remember lyrics saying it. It was bad. It was
go off for some reason.
It was really bad, bro. He was supposed to be baby Trae Young, and he was just terrible, bro. I think it was lyric that said he had more turnovers than points or something. I think it was bad. But yeah, I mean, it seems like every guard they have is relatively ball dominant. Like, I mean, Dejounte Murray wouldn't necessarily classify him as ball dominant, but he's definitely better with the ball in his hands. He's not a catching shoot type of guy. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I mean, I don't know if they try to super small ball it, and I mean, height wise, he's not a 3, but wingspan wise, he's kind of a 3. So maybe I don't know how that's gonna work.
I don't know.
But nah,
because then he becomes a defensive liability, honestly, especially when he goes against the wing guys that are just gonna torch you like LeBron and Durant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, height wise, him as a 3 just sounds even small ball wise.
And then crazy. What makes it worse is you got Trae Young on the floor anyway, so
trying to hide him on defense.
Exactly. Speaking of hiding in size on defense, the Knicks, man. The Knicks wanting Donovan Mitchell while having Jalen Brunson has to be the worst idea I've ever seen. They're both 6'1". They both don't play defense. They're getting torched if they get.
Bruh, it's the sale tickets, bruh. It's the sale tickets. First of all, you know Donovan Mitchell's from. I think he's from the Bronx. I know he's from New York. So
New York
now it's the sale tickets, man, to bring their guy back home. He'd be, one of the best players they've had in a long time. Yeah. But he doesn't play defense, so it won't result in wins. No. It'll probably result in some late seed playoffs. Maybe never win in a playoff series. Maybe surprise somebody in a playoff series.
Yeah.
But that's like really the ceiling to it. At the end of the day, I think it's really just to sell tickets and to be fun. I think the Knicks have already accepted they're not going to be good. We might as well be fun. And I think the Westbrook trade rumors is like the epitome of that. You want to be fun,
exactly.
But you're not going to win. Exactly. You're not going to win, but you're going to be fun to watch.
Take the garbage contract for LA just for the sake of it and have fun with your season, because that literally be that. And Donovan Mitchell, I think that's what the Knicks are missing. I mean, it's one thing to be bad, but to be like the Hornets are technically bad because they haven't made the playoffs, right? But to just keep losing and be boring is just bad. Are you there? Or are you frozen? Damn, or is it me? Damn, I don't know what to do. Hey, Ari, you there? Damn, tragic. I don't know what happened. Yo, Rico, you can hear me, bro. You lagging. Or you just straight froze, bro. It's Rico? All right. Damn. But like I was saying, Donovan Mitchell will probably be perfect for him, honestly, as far as selling tickets. And Jalen Brunson, I think he's cold, but I don't know if he's gonna get it done with Jalen with D Mitch. Man, this man is for real just gone. Hey. On my screen, he's just gone. I don't even see him anymore. Let's see. And he ain't even text me nothing. He's just gone. He's coming back. Cool. What's going on, everybody? He gone now. Yeah, beat that. Wi-Fi tripping. Yeah, it'd be like that. But yeah, shoot.
Oh yeah, Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone's hotspot just in case because I don't know what just happened to the Wi-Fi. Appreciate you holding it down though, Jalen.
I tried. I was looking at a frozen face for a half minute. I'm like, damn.
Now, but what were you saying though before I left? Because I felt like I had a point, but I can't even remember where I was about to go with it.
I was just doubling down on you saying that they need to sell tickets and have fun because
yeah,
it's bad. Like, I was saying the Hornets. The Hornets are bad because they don't make the playoffs or anything like that, but they're at least fun with Melo and I guess Rozier's fun, and they got that commentator that be walling out all the time.
Oh, your best commentator doing it, man.
Yeah. So there's that. The Knicks have none of that. I mean, they have Mike Breen when he's there, but half the time he's always doing like nationally televised games anyway. So he's not even a Knicks announcer. So yeah, they just suck over there.
Nah, I mean, and speaking of the Hornets, I don't know what they about to do with all their players getting arrested. And I mean, Miles Bridges, he fumbled the bag. Now he does have a solid rap career. But like, I mean, he was about to get offered crazy money, and then all of that stuff went down, and now they're looking at him like, I mean, we can't pay you. You might not even be able to play.
This dude was probably looking at 3 years, $150 million, and now he's looking at 0, and then a couple years behind bars because he got like 3 felony counts or something like that. Something crazy,
man. Something stupid. But speaking of stupid, man, that because y'all, man, Ant's my boy, so I want the Timberwolves to be as great as possible.
Yeah.
But that Rudy Gobert trade, I get more mad about it every time I think about it by the day. First of all of the draft picks, and then they gave away my boy Vanderbilt and what's his face that was really the only good consistent shooter down the stretch. You had Cat, and then you had him. I'm looking at his face. He's the guy that looks like Berlizzi. I just can't remember his name right now. And then Pat Bev got shipped too, which I mean, that's whatever. But like that trade is terrible to me.
Pat Bev's on a minimum. I think he was on a minimum, veterans minimum. So I mean, you could definitely use him because he is an aggravator for sure, and he's not a bad ball player. He's just annoying. So there's that.
Yeah.
But Gobert, man, I don't see it happen. I just don't see it with Cat because I don't think Cat is the guy. I don't think he can be the guy. He's like, thank God Anthony Edwards is there because he will have to be the better player going forward for sure. Towns,
man,
there was like, I think a 6-game series against the Grizzlies. There was like 4 out of those 6 games where Cat just did not show up in the fourth quarter. And he had the ball in his hands a lot. He would just move it because he wasn't ready for it.
And he would run people over. He was getting offensive fouls left and right. That's it, man. That Memphis Grizzlies series made me so mad just because like 80% of that series, the Timberwolves were a better team. They would just fourth quarter just fold, super fold.
I remember the best one. I can't remember the one where they fumbled the big lead. I was watching the game with Zuri, and they were down like 25. I go to get like a drink from the 7-Eleven. I come back and they're up. I'm like, wow, they back it up, man. They weren't here.
It was abysmal, and then just the way the team's constructed. Because I like D'Lo. But him and Ant on the court at the same time is weird because D'Lo's so ball dominant. You just have Ant kind of just watching. And Ant can spot up some, but like you can tell like he kind of just like mentally kind of checks out when D'Lo's on the court because he's just chilling on the sideline.
Yeah, and for what D'Lo gives you, I think he's a little overpaid because I think
that too.
D'Lo's perfectly paid. Like I think he has a great contract as far as the NBA goes. It just he's a pure, he's playmaking first, and those guys with the ball, ball dominant need to just move the rock, get out the way, and he does that a lot of times. But he's getting I think $25 million, and I mean, hey, they took on Gobert's contract, so I guess they're willing to take on any contract, I guess.
Man, how much money they're paying Cat and Gobert alone? I still don't know how that's gonna work because Rudy Gobert just isolating himself. Great defender, of course, but when it comes to the playoffs, teams literally switch on to him. Like when the Warriors play the Jazz, they literally do whatever they can to get Curry on them, and then after that, it's a guaranteed bucket one way or another.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, he's a phenomenal paint defender, but you 7 foot, bro. You ain't guarding nobody in the 3 point.
Not in the NBA,
and
not in the NBA.
But I can't decide whether his contract is worse or Tobias Harris's contract is worse. That man Gobert is making $40 million and not play offense, which is crazy. Crazy. Tobias Harris, man, he's got to be the luckiest player of all time. Nobody depends on him, and he's making 40. Nobody cares about how he performs, and he makes 40. Like, that is just
Tobias Harris living a great life.
Great life.
Great life.
Great life.
But no, that trade, and then even beyond just Gobert by himself, him and Cat on the floor at the same time. I mean, Cat does get bullied under the paint quite a bit. But he blocks quite a bit of shots, and it's not like he's really afraid to be down there on defense. So, was he about to just be a spot up at the 3-point line on offense? Is he about to just?
I'm gonna tell you straight up right now, they're not gonna win a playoff series because there's no transition game with those two.
Yeah,
like, you cannot run any transition because I mean, obviously Edwards can get out in the break. I mean, D'Lo can, but I mean, he ain't over here dunking on nobody. He's not going to finish over anybody anymore. And I mean, what are you going to have let's just say Malik Beasley or
that's who it was. Malik Beasley that was out here hooping. He got traded. Now it's
Malik Beasley got part of that?
Yes, man. He was the most consistent 3-point shooter for the last 3 months.
Yeah. So then never mind then.
Bro, bench depleted.
That's bad.
Bench depleted. They took my boy Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley and more players than that, but those are the two that really hurt me. And then, of course, all of the draft picks. And then, so then the draft pick side of it. Ant, love him, but he's not in his prime yet. So this is like a win now type of trade where you feel like you can win the finals now. But Ant's not even as good as he's going to be. He's not good enough to carry a team yet. No. I love Ant. I don't think he's good enough to be the best player on the team and win a finals yet. No. So you gave away all your draft picks. So, how are you going to build around Ant in the future? Ant's 20 years old or something?
He's like,
so
20,
he's got
to be 21, yeah.
So, what we about to do for the next 4 years with no first round draft picks? I'm just confused. What's the logic here?
The one thing I won't hate on them for is they're a small market team. So those small market teams have to make moves like that when they can make them because you keep Towns because he ain't going nowhere, and obviously Edwards because he can easily be one of the best players in the league going forward. And then, hey, if it means giving up a couple pieces so you can get Gobert, he's, I guess, a big name, and I mean, I guess because you're not getting people to sign to Minnesota, so you have to trade. You have to get them through the draft. So I guess I understand it from that point, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious because I'm not.
And honestly, these next few years is them auditioning for Ant because Ant spends all his offseason in Atlanta. He's only in Minnesota when he has to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, he seems like the type of person that may be loyal enough to stay.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's Damian Lillard loyal where the team is awful and I'm going to re-sign. I think if the Hawks are looking some type of good and his contract is over and the Timberwolves are just stuck with Gobert, Cat, and just a bunch of mess, I wouldn't be surprised if he left. Because, I mean, he's literally here all the time. I mean, he was at Georgia Tech playing football.
But the one thing those small market teams do is the minute they can extend them, they'll give them everything they have. They'll give them their future for all the money they want immediately within. I think Edwards is eligible next year, if I'm correct. Maybe the third year, the fourth year, for an extension. And obviously, Timberwolves are going to offer that extension, and it's going to be more.
He hasn't even made an all-star team to get the Supermax yet, though. So that's the only thing.
Right, you look at Edwards, you see him hoop, you know it, and he'll probably get an All-Star nod this year. Honestly,
he better.
Yeah,
well, Dejounte Murray took it from him after a couple of injuries. I forgot who was the next person. I think it was probably Dejounte Murray, then Jared Dudley, or one or the other, vice versa. It was them two, and then Ant was like next up after those guys for the All-Star. And I remember being upset about that. But I mean, even if it's not the bro. Not Jared Dudley. The one with the afro for the Cavaliers.
Allen. Allen.
Yeah, Jared. See, when I think when I hear Jared Allen, isn't that the edge rusher from way back?
Dudley is the forward on that's just atrocious. That has
yeah, the one that looks like Miro from Jesus and Miro. Yeah. But nah, isn't Jared Allen also an edge rusher from about 10 years ago, I think? So I don't know. I always get that mixed up because I want to say Dudley.
But it's spelled like Jared Dudley, like Jared Allen, I think it is. Not
something
Jared.
Like that. I think accurate something. But
I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, even if Ant doesn't go to the Hawks, I could definitely see him going to a bigger market just because, personality, people see him as the Marshawn Lynch of the NBA, like the funniest, interviewer and all of that type of stuff, funniest person off the court. And I mean, granted, he's still finding a way to do it. But I think even if the Timberwolves, if he was on a different team that was just as good as the Timberwolves, he probably makes the All-Star game just because he's on a different market. Even if they won the same exact amount of games, even if he has the same stats, if it were the Knicks that were just as good as the Timberwolves were last year, maybe he makes the All-Star game because it's just a bigger market. So I can see him leaving for like a Chicago or just depending on where teams are at by the time he's ready to potentially leave. Because I don't see the Timberwolves going anywhere with no draft picks.
Yeah, no doubt. Nobody's watching Minnesota. I mean, it's just okay.
But Pat Beverly made him a little bit more fun to watch last year. But man, between Cat getting bullied and now we got to watch Rudy Gobert. And remember, Ant didn't like Rudy Gobert. Remember, I'm not sure if a lot of people remember that, but I remember that interview. He was like, "Who's afraid of Gobert? Like, y'all really afraid of Gobert out here? Who's?"
Yeah.
So I don't even know how that's gonna work because Gobert went from not liking Donovan Mitchell and with the COVID situation, him coughing on the mic, so nobody liked him. I don't know how that's gonna go well in Minnesota either. Like I just don't see it working. And Ant really liked Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. Like they hung out outside of basketball too. So it's just a lot of parts of this. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But like I said, they just had to seize the moment with getting Gobert or anybody that's a name. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, Gobert is an all-star. So there's that.
Oh, and I also wanted to say thank you for the donation from the Giants fan. Cruzan. Washington will be last in the division. First of all, appreciate the donation. And second of all, that's definitely a troll. You got it.
You got say? Out here donating to you.
Hey man, real one. I don't like what he said, but I love the donation. He's a real one, man. I appreciate it. Last in the division is crazy. We would have to suffer severe injuries for that,
especially coming from the Giants. I gotta understand the Eagles, the Cowboys fans saying that, but the Giants in their last season, and I mean Daniel Jones again. I know you. I ain't hearing that.
Man, what was it? The QB sneak 2 plays in a row right before they punted on their own 5-yard line.
5 yards. That's so bad, man.
Hey, bro, innovative. You ain't never seen that before.
You ain't never seen that.
You ain't never seen that before. Giants ahead. People gonna be doing that 10 years from now and gonna look smart doing it. But yeah, man, that Gobert trade. I mean, I'm biased because it affected the team that I watched the most last year. So I feel like the Gobert trade was the worst offseason move, in my opinion, so far, because just how upset I am about it. Yeah. But other than that, like, what do you feel like may have been the worst signing or the worst trade or with outside of Gobert? Again, Gobert may not be the worst, but for me, it feels like it.
Easily Jalen Brunson to the Don't get me wrong. Jalen Brunson is a good basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Out, but $30 million for him. Number one. Number two, you have nobody surrounding him. Number three, you gave up Kemba Walker, who I mean his knees are gone, but that's
so what?
Yeah, Nerlens Noel, who's better than your other signing, which was Hartenstein. I don't know if you've seen them sign him. The 7 foot.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he's a worse Nerlens Noel. So they cleared Noel to get him, which they're both basically making the same amount of money. But to clear the cap to get Jalen Brunson and not get him a second guy is just, it's bad. And honestly, I thought the Knicks would be the team to make like a Gobert trade because Randall hates the fans now, apparently, and the fans hate him.
Dubious handles.
Yeah,
that boy dubious handles.
About the fans, they were booing him after one of his bad games, and he was like, "Man, I ain't listening to the fans. I don't care what the fans think. I hate them, man." So what are you doing with Randall and Brunson? Like, I understand you need to make signings and you need to make your, fill out the payroll. I just think going forward, given this man, I think it was, is it $38 million for 4 years, $120 million for 4 years, basically.
Crazy.
Brunson, and then his father is what? His father's on the bench. He's an assistant coach. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, that's they had that was part of signing him. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it is Leon Rose's son. That's a recipe for disaster right there, man.
What is he about to do on the sideline? Like, what is he gonna contribute? Like, where is his resume besides just being a father? Like,
his dad is a former player.
Oh, okay.
And I think his dad played at Villanova as well. So
okay,
got the accolade. It's just
Knicks.
I just don't believe.
The Knicks be having fun. They already got Funny Marco as one of their best players. Dubious handles. I mean, again, their strategy is just to sell tickets. And it's crazy because they're a big market.
Brunson's not going to do that. Who in their right mind is excited about Jalen Brunson as a Knicks fan?
I don't know. You got to be like a try-hard basketball player to actually know how good he is. But like the average just watching a game type of guy probably wouldn't know how good Jalen Brunson is. Again, I agree. He's still severely overpaid. Yeah. But it's like you got to be a real basketball watcher to even kind of understand that Jalen Brunson's good. See, I agree. Like, he's not a sell tickets move, but I think eventually, they're gonna end up with Donovan Mitchell or Westbrook. One of them is gonna end up over there to sell some tickets.
It's so worth it for the Knicks because the roster that they have right now is not doing anything, and I think they know that. And like you said, they need to be fun, and Westbrook would 1,000% do that. Mitchell, short guy, that would make it fun. And then obviously Donovan, like I said, he doesn't play defense, and Jalen Brunson's a pretty bad defender as well. But at the end of the day, you could squeak out some wins in the NBA without playing defense. So
yeah, regular season.
Yeah, especially in the regular season. Yeah. So they could make some noise in that regard, but it's just it's wishful thinking, honestly, especially with just Jalen Brunson. But I think
right now it's RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, dubious handles, aka Funny Marco.
Yeah.
And Obi Toppin,
Evan Fournier, man. That's what they got. That's what they got.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. As somebody, like, every time a team I care about plays against Evan Fournier, it seems like that's the day he chooses to go off, and it's so annoying. Because every time I look up his average numbers, like over the season, they're terrible. Yeah. And so I'm like, wait a minute. So you just choose when I care about the team to go crazy. Because he would drop like 25 and 7 against like the Timberwolves. I'm like, bruh, come on now. Like, he has to be balling this season. I go look at the stats and he's been average or terrible. I'm like, how?
Did you peep the Knicks opening game this past season?
Nah.
They played Boston in New York. We went to, I think it was double overtime, and Fournier dropped 43 points.
Sounds about right.
It was funny because I remember the game pretty good. Marcus Smart hit a 3 to send it to overtime with like literally as the clock expired. And I was like, oh yeah, we got this. It's Smart hitting that right now. We straight. And then he just said, nah, bro, I'm gonna continue myself in OT. And yeah, he violated and they ended up winning.
Nah, I hate going against Evan Fournier. I know what it is. He's not good all season, but when it's a team I care about, man, out there looking like baby Devin Booker, it's so annoying. It is so annoying. But speaking of Devin Booker, where you feel like KD might end up going? Where you think he's gonna end up just staying?
I think he ends up staying. Yeah, I've been saying. I think it's gonna be KD and Kyrie again with Simmons. It's really his only option without looking like a bum, honestly. Because how are you gonna pick the best teams in the league with the Suns and the Heat?
And the Heat, the number one seeds on each side.
And then do that again, like, oh, I'm joining the best team again. Like, there's no way. Like, the only way I see KD leaving is if Kyrie ends up getting traded. And with that, like, I don't see that happening because of, the few destinations that Kyrie can actually go. Because, number one, who wants to deal with him? The only one I can think of is LeBron, the Lakers. And then you have to receive the Westbrook contract or get a third team that's willing to do it. And then I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of teams out there that I think are loading up at the worst time. Like the Philadelphia 76ers, like James Harden's pay cut to get PJ Tucker. Like PJ Tucker didn't even close with the Heat. So he's not closing with y'all, right? You gave up your bench for Harden, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. And the Nets, the Nets could be dangerous. They just need to do two things. Get rid of Steve Nash now.
Yeah, it didn't work. You saw him on TikTok dancing with his family. He don't care. He don't care at all.
They was killing that man too for just living life. But, and then hire somebody that
can control egos.
Semblance of the offense or just something, man. Because in my honest opinion, I think they could have beaten Boston in that first round had they been prepared to, I guess, I don't know, play the long game. I think they were just acting like KD and Kyrie were going to play 48 minutes and just kill, which when they were in the game, especially for game one, they killed. But it just, the bench has got to do something. The bench is majority of the minutes. And when Kyrie and KD weren't on the floor, what's his name wasn't getting
ugly.
Bruce Brown and Nick Claxton. Like that is
No, I think they really missed Jared Allen, bro. Like I think that really messed up a lot for them losing him.
Yeah.
That was big. They could have used him a lot last year. I think they probably don't get swept if they have Jared Allen on their team.
And I think people sleep on the fact that when they got Kyrie and KD that summer, that for some reason Kyrie and KD pushed for DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That had to be that. Like, look at DJ right now. He ain't doing nothing, bro. And
absolutely nothing.
And for Brooklyn, he wasn't doing anything either. So it was a bad sign. I think he made like 15 million, 15 plus, something like that. It was bad.
Yeah, they got their friend hired.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Hey, these people in good positions, they getting their friends' jobs, so I give them that. But
they putting in a good word for sure. But for me, KD wise, my main thing is, because first of all, I agree with you, but my main thing is that wherever KD gets traded to, that team is nowhere near as good now after he gets traded. You got to give up all of the best players to get him. No matter where KD goes, there's going to be no team as good as how the Nets are currently constructed, especially if Ben Simmons plays. Like if he goes to the Suns, wait, what you got? What you about to say?
I got a team.
Okay.
The Celtics.
What would y'all trade though? Like what y'all gonna give up?
Please take Tatum. Please. You
ready to get rid of Tatum that fast?
Okay, so I know I don't really talk like the Celtics all the time with you, but I might be the only Celtics fan that legitimately hates Tatum. Like this not just because of the finals. I've been hated this man. Like he just doesn't play basketball correctly. He's not when it like on like loose balls or anything. He doesn't play. He plays defense, but he'll play defense on his man. He don't help defense. He's not. He's not in the passing lanes. He's not doing any of that. And on offense, he'll hoist terrible shots. Terrible shots. when the offense is in flow, too. Because ultimately, yeah, Jalen can't handle the ball, but when he is going and he's got a head of steam, like he is getting a bucket or he's getting fouled. He's one of those players that can finish. And if he doesn't finish, he's getting that call. So, and there's other players on the floor, like Robert Williams is an automatic bucket because of his size and his explosiveness. You know, his athleticism is getting up and he gets the easy buckets for us. But Tatum, he kills the flow of the offense because, and this is why I think he's severely overrated, he is the best player on a really good team. So he gets all the recognition for it. But he's not far and beyond better than Jalen. He's just
I don't think so either.
He's just more talented than Jalen, and he can shoot better than Jalen. So everybody thinks, oh, this is the face of the franchise right here. But hey, I would be so happy to move Tatum in like 3 firsts for KD. I think that's chip right there. And even if we don't give up Tatum, I mean, as much as it would hurt as a fan of Jalen, I'd be okay with getting rid of Jalen for Tatum, Jalen in a couple picks, and maybe Pritchard for Durant. I think that's championship as well. I think it's doable. I think that's the only real team where if KD goes, that's like an automatic upgrade. But Brad Stevens and the Celtics won't do it because they got that, that core that's been together long. And we finally broke through this year. I feel like if we didn't break through this year, then we might be on the market for KD. But because we got to the finals, we made it a series, 6 games.
Politics.
And then with the additions with Brogdon and Gallinari, it makes no sense to make any moves anymore because you had the core that really played phenomenal, right? And then you add 2 people who are 1,000% going to be in the rotation. One might,
sure,
Malcolm Brogdon. So you go forward with a better team. So there's no reason to shift the camaraderie or the cohesiveness of the squad. So, but Durant really doesn't have many options. I think Miami is not going to happen just simply because I don't see Pat Riley getting rid of Bam, and I think you got to get rid of Bam in order to get KD.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And then I don't see why you trade Jimmy Butler. That just you're gonna kill the heart and soul. Everybody's just gonna stop playing.
Man, Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is a different guy. I don't know what be going on. I don't know what he be doing in the regular season, just chilling, just coasting. But playoff Jimmy Butler is a different guy.
I got a Miami Heat Butler jersey, and I had to hang that one up for the series, man. I couldn't look at it, man. And he was going crazy. And I ultimately think he might be a top 10 player in the NBA. I think people
in the playoffs for sure. In the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when the lights are the brightest, he's definitely a guy that's going to show up. He's done it the last 3 years. I mean, the finals appearance last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. He knows.
He just had that one bad shot against y'all. He just had that one last really bad heat check shot. That was it. I mean, it was technically open, I guess. I don't know. It was just the way he missed made it look worse than the actual shot was. I could definitely say that.
As a Celtics fan, watching that shot go up, I thought we were done.
Oh yeah.
The way that second half of the fourth quarter was going and him taking that shot, I'm like, yo, Jimmy, if there was anybody on that floor, forget my boy Marcus Smart, forget Tatum for sure, forget Jalen. If there was anybody to take that shot right there, it was Jimmy, even though he's not even a great 3-point shooter. I'm like, yo, that ball's going in, man.
It was heat check. It was heat check for sure. He was in a moment. He made a really good past couple of plays, defense and offense. It was a heat check. I'm not mad at it. Yeah. But it did look really bad after he missed. Like, it was like, oh man, we had time to like set up a half court offense type of thing. But yeah, man, playoff Jimmy, I don't know what it is. It's just a completely different guy.
Yeah, he's built different, man. He's built different.
It's super different. But yeah, man, with KD, I like that Celtics scenario. I never thought of that. But yeah, outside of that, it's just whatever you would have to trade. Of course, the Suns out of it because that Deandre Ayton situation, they can't trade him until 2023. Like January, February, something like that. So they're out of it. After they matched the offer that I forgot the Pacers I think offered them or something like that. And so they're out of it, and I don't know. I guess other than that Celtics scenario, again, anywhere KD goes, the team is worse than what he currently has with the Nets, especially if Ben Simmons plays. I think you at least got to give Ben Simmons a year, even though him, Kyrie, both of them are just weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to hate on him right now, and I understand KD's frustration, but you just got to give it a year. Run it back once.
Nah, I'll hate on him right now. Which one are you referring to? Because KD, I ain't got no hate for KD, even though what he did with Golden State was annoying. But
yeah, I'm still mad at him for that. But recently, he hasn't really done anything to get on my nerves like that.
But Ben Simmons can get all the hate.
That man showed up to practice and said, "Record this dunk real quick." Why? Like for what? What was the PR strategy there? What are we doing? What are we doing?
My man jumped 1.5 feet off the floor thinking he was doing something.
I just don't understand it. Wearing his best outfits on the sideline.
Yeah, like you don't want to be seen, but the only one you can really point out on the court at just looking at the TV screen, man, he's a different breed, bro. I don't know what's up with that man. All I know
both
is
of these Australian guys, boy. Kyrie and Ben Simmons, both Australians. They gotta stop. They gotta stop.
That's the thing, though. The player, Kevin Durant, from his standpoint, I see no reason not to run it back. Know what I'm saying? You're gonna be hated league-wide if you move to a top team like Phoenix or Miami, right? So
we're gonna ignore them rings.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to have to deal with that again, right? And I mean, if Kyrie's really your best friend, then I mean, you can make it work. And Ben Simmons obviously not your ideal because you wanted Harden, but you know, like you have some pieces that if y'all have some offense, you know, and then if you actually start running some offense, you can get something done. And Ben Simmons would be the perfect person at that, you know, low block spot or that short corner and just dump off and you know, or he's moving in transition and, you know, passes the ball or something like that. But I think they have to run it back just simply because who wants to deal with Simmons or Kyrie? Who?
I don't know where you trade him. I don't know where at this point you trade. It's crazy that out of Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and Patty Mills is the most consistent Australian on that team. Like, I don't know what they got going. I don't know what they got going on. At least Kyrie, you can see, like, it's like the sage, it's the Tetra cards, it's the Earth is flat stuff. I don't know. At least I can word why Kyrie is how he is. Yeah. Ben Simmons, I literally don't know what Ben Simmons got going on. I don't know religion. I don't know what is going on with Ben Simmons. Was he actually hurt last year or not? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, like it's not like we deserve an explanation for his like whatever was going on last year, but it would certainly help, especially in your favor, because if you say something that you're dealing with, right? Because it's just all speculation. We don't know. So that's what it's like, yo, Ben Simmons, what's the deal here, man?
Say something.
Say something. But he, like I said, he's a different breed. And Kyrie, as far as the outlook, he opted in, right? You got to pay him for whatever. I think it's like $40 million or something, right? $43 million, I think. It might be less. But you know what he's going to give you on the floor. He's the best he's ever been. And you're best friends with KD. You run it back with your squad. Maybe Ben Simmons on the floor. Maybe he's not. But at least you have a full season where there's not the vaccine issue. Hopefully there's random Kyrie, I need to take off, leave for a couple of weeks for no reason. And
his birthday, I think it was.
Hey, if you're making that much bread and nobody questions anything, or at least I guess they question it, but nothing really happens to you, then hey, why
no repercussions?
Go about it. No repercussions. Go about it, bro. Go ahead, do your thing, Kyrie.
Just so talented.
Have you seen that he be on hopping on GTA venting?
Oh yeah, he literally be doing the reality thing like T Grizzly and all of them.
What? man. Why?
bro.
Why?
The one Kobe story he told was cool, but it's just like he was literally like just mid-season, just GTA, just chilling.
I didn't hear Kobe story. I just heard his grievances about Boston, his time in Boston, and I was just like, dude, like, why on GTA, bro? Like, you trying to troll, aren't you, bro? Like, you can't write.
Yeah. His whole journey is weird because he wanted to be by himself, and then was mad when LeBron pulled up. Yeah. Then he was like, all right, I really wanna I want to separate myself from LeBron. Let me go do this with the Celtics.
Yeah.
And then that didn't work. He was upset that, you know, and then that team was really good. Didn't that team get to the finals without him? Or the conference finals or something? Conference finals.
Well, so what happened was we went to the Eastern Conference Finals when he got hurt, right?
Yeah.
On the team. The next year we lose in 5 games to the Bucks in the second round. And then he leaves and we go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. So,
and now he wants to go back with LeBron. He's like, I regret it. I wasn't being mature.
Not on KD's podcast talking about, I finally have a go-to guy in the fourth quarter that I don't have to be the one reliant to make a shot. I can finally give the ball to somebody. He was talking about KD and taking a shot at LeBron. I'm like, bro, what's up with you? Now he want to go back and play with LeBron, bro. It just here's the thing with Kyrie. On a personal level, I admire him, I guess, a little bit. Because at least he can admit his flaw and, like, I guess try to amend it. Because, like, bro, for what to happen with you pushing out of Cleveland and you wanting to come back and play with LeBron, it's like, I guess that's some maturity.
It's a bad look, but it's maturity, to admit you're wrong.
Yeah, so I guess I can admire that. But other than that, Kyrie, you got to go, bro. You got to go.
I mean, again, with Kyrie, we can literally point the exact problems. We can point the why. We can point the how. Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons is literally just what is going on. Last time we've seen him was him not doing a layup because Trae Young is in front of him. Like, we still haven't gotten answers for that. Like, we have so many questions with Ben Simmons. Like, are you okay? What is really going on? Is he upset? Is he moody? Like, I don't even know. Again, Kyrie, I know it's wrong. He just can't seem to fix it. Ben Simmons, I literally don't know. Like, I mean, I hope KD knows. Maybe KD and Kyrie have talked to him and they know. I don't know. But and Momo pulled up to the stream. How you doing? Hey, Momo.
Hey, Momo. What's going on? It's funny, like, going forward, what team is not gonna harass Ben Simmons, bro? What fan base?
Oh yeah, verbally? Oh yeah, I'm on his head if I'm playing the Nets. Oh my lord!
If I'm Brooklyn, I'm violating. I don't see why not, bro. Like he could have easily came back in that series or in the regular season, and then out of nowhere, it's something with my back, bro.
Bruh. Where did that report even come from? Because I know it didn't come from him. When they were like, he may play Game 3. Yeah. Like, what happened? Like, what was that?
May play Game 3 and then just never comes back. It's just.
Was that a PR stunt to put pressure on him to make him play? Like, maybe somebody from the Nets said that to be like, oh, Ben Simmons, they're saying you're going to play. Are you going to just, not play and let everybody down? Like,
it would make sense. But right after when he didn't play Game 3, it made no sense to play Game 4 because you're down 3-0 at that point. And why risk yourself coming back and then you play atrocious and you get embarrassed even more? It's like, yo, we don't. And
it's a lose-lose.
Your value, because now after your contract's done, nobody gonna want you for 20 plus. They're just gonna be like, all right, yo, you take this 10 mil or just walk.
Yeah. He's too talented for all these problems. That whole team is too talented. The fact that they have both Seth Curry and Patty Mills, I thought was crazy because both of those guys are liable to drop 40 for no reason out of nowhere. Like that, it's a good supporting cast. The bench wise, like you said, is not that great. But they should be better than they are, man. It's literally no excuse for them not to.
The other guard that they had on their team, and in my opinion, the second best offseason so far was the Bulls. Now, I didn't believe in the Bulls all last year and panned out basically how I thought it'd end up. But with Drummond now, and in my opinion, one of the best backup guards in the league, at least IQ-wise, is Dragic. and they got both of them. And I think going forward is perfect because they need a playmaker over there because Levine and DeRozan handle the ball way too much for them to be scorers, in my opinion. Like, I mean, not scorers, but I don't know, to be go-to guys. I feel like they should have some of the weight being lifted. They don't have to come up the ball with come up the court with the ball.
Like a Rubio type of guy, slightly.
And Dragic can be that guy. And then with Drummond, they don't have to worry about Vucevic being atrocious because Vucevic's your defense is bad, and when he can't shoot, he continues to shoot and misses. So, if Vucevic ain't getting going, then they can just have that lob threat / defender in the paint. Plus, I mean, one of the best rebounders in the league in Drummond. So they have a team that can easily get out the first round. I think they just ran into the Bucks last year, and so they got something. And then Lonzo comes back. So I mean, Lonzo's already
lock up,
and I forgot about that, but he's already that guy that can alleviate the offensive, the playmaking and stuff like that. But Dragic can definitely be a help off the bench. So
now Vucevic is a problem. He was fun for the Magic, but we see that he's kind of like an Enes Kanter where he can score. And even then, he's not as good as Kanter on offense, but he's also not quite as bad as Kanter on defense.
Whoa, I can't agree with that one.
Yeah, but I would say it's like slightly less bad because Kanter was like historically bad for a run. But Vucevic's defense is terrible, though.
Saying Vucevic is better than Kanter or not?
No, if it were up to me, I would take Kanter. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Man, Enes Kanter has to be he needs to be studied, bro, by scientists because there's no way this man he can get an offensive rebound, but he can't get a defense
easily
to save his. And then he can't play defense either. He's like
literally at all.
So it's bad, but in Orlando when Vucevic was in Orlando, man, the Magic fans treat him like he LeBron, bro. I went. It was real fun because everybody is just hyping that man up, bro. What's going on,
man? My boy Seyi was good.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Why my head so big?
I guess you're just closer to the camera than we are.
Hold up.
I mean, I guess it's a good balance because I'm closer than Jalen is, and Jalen's further back in the middle. Yeah. I think it makes it perfect. Okay, I feel that. Okay, that's better. That's better. Nah. I ain't mad at it.
But I was on the studio for a minute. Wait, were you saying that Vucevic is not better than Kanter?
Thank you.
Wait, what?
No, I'm saying both in their primes. I would take Kanter. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm a little biased.
When was Kanter's prime?
I would say 6-7 years ago.
He was a backup center. He's always been a backup center.
Man, when he was on the Thunder, I absolutely loved him, man. That was my boy. I don't know. The Vucevic defense makes me mad in the bad shooting.
There was a reason why he was always a backup because his defense was so bad you couldn't start him.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Vucevic's defense is terrible, but Kanter's worse. But I love Kanter's post game. I don't know. I loved it.
No, Vucevic is a bucket. 20. He could give you 20 a game. He took a lesser role now because he had DeRozan and Levine, but Vucevic could give you buckets. But no, this looks slick annoying. My head is way too big. Is there any way you can make me smaller? Okay, this is much better. I'll take that. Is that better? That's better. Yeah, I'll take that. Oops.
Wait, I don't know where he went.
And now look what happened.
We've already made our way around the league for quite a bit, but of course we got to go back with certain things like how you feel about the Rudy Gobert trade because that I'm still mad. I get more mad every day about it.
Fleeced. And while I get this camera back on, absolutely fleeced. Okay, so look, so the way the Timberwolves lost in the playoffs, Karl-Anthony Towns is struggling. I think we remember that series. He was getting in foul trouble. Sometimes it was non-existent on offense. It looked like Anthony Edwards was the best player. But at the same time, the way Karl-Anthony Towns gets his offense is by being a mismatch nightmare for other centers because he can spot out to the three. Most centers can't defend the three, and that's where he's most effective. But they were seeing this as a way hey, We need to get We need to get Gobert. You got me saying Cantor. We need to get Gobert so we can get Karl-Anthony Towns out of foul trouble. And if you get Karl-Anthony Towns out of foul trouble, he'll be more effective during the game. He'll be better on the offensive end. He's not going to get worn down by other centers.
He was getting a lot of his fouls on offense too, though. That's
that too, yeah. Offensive fouls. But I don't know. Maybe he was getting frustrated. Maybe it allows him to just stay out.
Yeah, I see a lot
out in the 3-point line. But at the same time, it's like you're devoting $200 million each to 2 centers, and you're going to play them in the lineup, which has not really been proven that they could play together. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns did play the 4 in college. That's something like we did seem to forget with Willie Cauley-Stein and Trey Lyles, but. At the same, we didn't see this in the NBA game. And look, he couldn't defend bigs. Now you expect him to defend big wings, because that's basically he's going to be defending. He's going to be defending Giannis. I mean, nobody can defend Giannis anyways, but he's going to be defending Anthony Davis. He's going to be defending sometimes Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant plays the 4 in some sets. So he's going to be defending players like that. And this could work, but I just don't know about this. This is just how many first-round picks they gave up. That's just what I'm worried about. They gave up a whole decade of picks. Yeah. And the players, I mean, Beverly, I like Beverly for the personality aspect. I felt like he gave them, especially Karl-Anthony Towns, confidence to believe in themselves.
So he wasn't too taxing on their payroll either.
No, yeah, and he had a good price. Jared Vanderbilt, very underrated. A big wing that can defend 1 through 5. Like, players like that don't grow on trees. They gave him away. Granted, they do got Jaden McDaniel, who's a similar type of player but younger. So they expect him to fill in that role, but. Yeah, it's just more the first-round picks. Like, I'm for the Gobert experiment, but they gave a whole decade of first-round picks, all the way to 2029, and all the way up to 2027 to unprotected. That's just too much. But hey, Danny Ainge, he's on a different team, but still the same Danny Ainge, still fleecing other teams for their picks. The reason why the Celtics went to the NBA Finals, Danny Ainge, because they got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown through trades for draft picks. Thank you to the Brooklyn Nets.
And what were you about to say? Oh, just to let you know, Malik Beasley, like I thought, I didn't know this for sure, but I just checked just now. Malik Beasley led the Timberwolves last year in 3-pointers made per game. And it felt like it. Malik Beasley, literally felt like it towards the end of the season, man.
Best 3-point shooter on the team, and that's the worry now. Now, one thing that the Timberwolves did excel at was 3-point shooting. They traded Beasley. Beverly could stretch the floor out a little bit. So
as long as
so now, like, who's their 3-point shooter? I mean, you got Cat, of course, Andy Edwards, but he's more of like a volume shooter than anything. But who are their spot up guys? They got Noel. Like the 24, I think he's 24 years old. Like, he's going to get more minutes. He can shoot the 3, but like they need to have more shooters now. So
your boy D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell can shoot, but like he's a volume shooter as well. Like you need spot up. No, I actually think D'Angelo Russell's not really that bad. I felt like he got a bad rap in the playoffs, but he's actually, to me, he's improved a lot. This thing is, everybody just thought D'Angelo Russell's going to be a star player. He's just not a star player. He's a very good point guard, and that's it. He's Mike Conley level. That's it.
It's kind of like he's living in the shadow like Wiggins. I can see that a little bit.
Yeah.
And certain expectations, he's never going to reach those.
Yeah, granted, if Wiggins would have stayed in Minnesota, he would never become the Wiggins of today. So it's just different organizations.
I mean, the Warriors bring the best out of everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
They just make you more efficient. They give you better strategies. I'm pretty sure they coach them up. I'm pretty sure even just diet-wise, they're just doing it better over there. Everything over there is just better, man.
I mean, they have a bevy of playmakers, and you don't even have to be the first option in scoring at the end of the game. So, I mean, that man Wiggins, until the finals, he was sitting in the corner. He would just sit in the corner, and he would just catch and shoot, or he would just catch and drive to the basket. Like he wasn't even in the flow of the offense. But hey.
And now that we're talking about it, Gary Payton Jr. too. I mean, he left for the money, But I think he's quickly gonna see that that Warriors was different.
I don't think he even cares, honestly.
Yeah, he just got the money.
This man was about to leave the game last year. He was about to work for the Warriors. He wasn't about to play for them. He was about to work like for the video team or something. Like he got paid. It's like, hey, I could lose for the rest of my life. I got my championship. I'm straight. I'm straight. I can live in Portland. I'm good. I don't think he even cares. I'm happy for him.
Them signing Mac McClung. I don't know if you've seen that. They signed him. He's basically Gary Payton. I mean, a little less defense, but he's basically Gary Payton. Explosive on, he's athletic and stuff like that. He can hit a corner three, and that's all you need to do.
And he's improved a lot in the summer league. Like I watched McClung like dating back from high school, at least clips in high school, but I just thought this guy was just a highlight reel guy. Like he was a YouTube guy. That was it. Just you'll see him for dunks and everything. Yeah. But like when you watch a full game, like you weren't that impressed. But I felt like he's improved a lot during the summer league.
I agree.
Yes, sir. And of course, we want to know where you feel like KD going to end up going. You think he's going to end up staying, or how you feeling about it?
Well, before I get to that, I want to get on this side note. Yeah, I know I'm on Black people time, but hey, I was at Sam's Club and I saw gas for $3.52 a gallon. I had to stop and fill my tank up. I'm sorry.
At least you would be doing something productive. It wasn't like you was at home, didn't feel like getting out the bed.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was at Sam's Club. Like I had to shop. It was a storm outside. Rico, you probably know, it was a storm in the area. Like, and then I was about to leave. Then I saw a gas unleaded, $3.52. The next place was 40 cents more. I had to fill my tank up. I spent $56 on it. My bank account is hurting from that, but I know I'll be thankful later. Now seeing my tank on full. But look, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm loving what the Brooklyn Nets are doing right now. If any team is asking for Kevin Durant, I'm asking for their best player in return. Because why the hell would I give you Kevin Durant when he's on a 4-year contract? If he says he wants to get traded, okay, well, too bad. You signed the contract last season. Like what am I supposed to do? You think I'm going to trade you for peanuts? No. I'd rather let you not play or leave for free than trade you for a bunch of role players in a pack of Skittles. So hey, I'm loving what the Nets I'm doing, because I will do the same thing. He's on a 4-year contract. Everybody's saying like, oh, this is a players league. The players control everything. They control everything when they're on a 1-year contract. When they do the 1-and-1 deals, that's what LeBron does. He never does a long-term contract. He does the 1-and-1 deals so he can control his own destiny.
Yeah.
If you're a superstar player, you ain't gonna do a 4-year deal. So look,
with it being so late in free agency now, that like you have to give up one of your best players for a KD, somebody that's making a lot of money, because you have no roster. I mean, you have no cap space anymore, so you can't just take on the contract now. So you got to move players, and when you do that, the likelihood of you also getting draft picks as well, it decreases as well. So there's no real incentive for the Nets to trade Durant for just a good player and a couple other role players. So going forward, I mean, hey, if you can keep Durant and Kyrie, do it. And Ben Simmons.
Kyrie, on the other hand, is on a 1-year contract, and I really feel like they would love to give away Kyrie. But I think the market for Kyrie is like what they're saying is kind of non-existent. With that? Yeah. The only team that wants Kyrie is the Lakers. But do you want Russell Westbrook in return? No. So exactly. I might as well keep Kyrie and see if this team can actually win something. I mean, they got Royce O'Neal. They got a 3-and-D guy. That was one thing they were lacking, 3-and-D. They literally ran lineups with Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Mills, Patrick Mills. Yeah. All in one lineup. That's 3 point guards. 3 point guard size players all in one lineup. Yeah. That was a recipe for failure. So as long as they got size now, Ben Simmons is hopefully coming back. I'm not going to say he's coming back, hopefully, because we're never sure with him. Yeah. So you know what? Maybe they got a squad now. But yeah, if I'm the Nets, I'm not trading Kevin Durant. Like, why? And now the Suns are out the running. They had to sign DeAndre Ayton. Pacers put them to a corner. So now they're out the running because they can't trade for DeAndre Ayton anymore. They can't trade for him until at least 6 months from now.
Which I think a bad decision on the Suns' part. I mean,
what could the Suns do? They should have paid him last year.
No, this is actually the best case scenario. At least if they wanted to keep Ayton, because if they paid him last year, they would have paid him more. So they're actually paying him less now.
If they wanted to keep Ayton, but I don't think they should. I mean, if you've seen Ayton play, you can tell that.
Bro, it's hilarious.
Yeah, if he was more aggressive, you could see what he'd be capable of. I mean, that team would be unstoppable, but he kind of just shrivels up in games, and it just takes a back seat to Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and then they have no paint presence because, you know, the wing guys are great, like Bridges and Crowder and Johnson, but I mean, none of them are just going to be down there in the paint. They have Ayton.
I feel like it's more just like how the Suns run their offense more than it is Ayton. I feel like it's just more that it's built around Devin Booker mostly, and it's not built around Ayton. I feel like if Ayton went to the Pacers, we'll see a legit 20-10 guy because he's be more the focal point of offense. I feel like Ayton's main role is to be a defensive anchor, which I feel like he does pretty well. He doesn't get the shot. He doesn't get the block shots like a Miles Turner does, but he's a great defender in the post. He's a guy who can at least switch out to perimeter, not a guy that can play there full time, but won't be completely exposed like a Gobert, for example. So I like Ayton. I feel like they had to do it because if they don't do it, they're just going to be worse. And they were still, despite them getting embarrassed by the Dallas Mavericks, they were still a team close to the playoff. Close to the championship.
That's so because I think they could have easily found a sign and trade because teams want Ayton because he's obviously a good player. Like the Pacers gave him that contract. There's teams that are willing to give this man some money, and if they were to receive just another big man, like look at JaVale. Now JaVale's not going to play the entire game like Ayton. He's in the same minutes, obviously, right? But I feel like he brings the same presence that Ayton does because simply he can rebound, he can play defense, he's agile, he's athletic, he can make. He's obviously not as good as Ayton, but he can flow in the offense and the defense just as well.
Like you said, he's not as good as Ayton, so they're not going to be better. They're going to be worse.
But if you sign and trade, you can get stuff in return. So, for instance, right?
Who else are they going to get?
I don't know if Indiana's willing to do that. If Indiana was willing to do it, but Buddy Hield could make the Suns better with JaVale and another. You could easily find JaVale's cheaper.
An inefficient shooter. I don't know. That's going to make the Suns better. He's inefficient. He's a good shooter, but just because he's a good shooter doesn't mean he takes good shots. I don't think that makes the Suns better.
For Buddy Hield right now, but
Lakers could have him because Lakers needs some more shot creation. Suns don't need that. They need defense. That's what they need. They could probably have a secondary shot creator, but that's not Buddy Hield. They need defense. That first and foremost. Look, I think the Pacers, of course, I think they were willing to trade Miles Turner because you're going to get Ayton. They don't need Turner anymore. So Turner could go to the Suns, but Turner is more of a spot-up shooter who's not as good, but not good enough. He's a good shooter for a big man, but not a good shooter to be a shooter. Yeah. I don't think that's what the Suns need. They need a pick-and-roll guy, which Ayton is good at, and a guy who can, even though Miles Turner is a much better shot blocker than Ayton is a just overall better defender.
So what you think is stick with the blueprint with Phoenix.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he's still in his early 20s. He's only still going to get better. And we still haven't seen the best of Ayton yet. Okay. So
man, my problem is, man, I've taken times where I've literally spent 5 minutes only watching him. Don't even look at where the ball's at. And he don't be boxing now. I don't know if it's because he's tired or something, but he was.
If you're watching the Maverick series, that series was different. He was checked out. He thought he was going to be on this team next season. He was like, "I'm done. I don't care anymore."
He was super gone.
I don't know. I mean, even in the first round against the Pelicans, he was getting. There was games where he was getting outplayed by Valanciunas. He was getting out rebounded by Valanciunas. The first game of the series.
Valanciunas is like a 300-pound man, so Valanciunas can outmuscle a lot of people.
He's big, of that. But that's my point, though. Valanciunas is not anywhere near as expensive as Ayton, and you can find players out there that can provide the rebounding that Valanciunas and Ayton do, and still excel as the Suns. And then you get another wing player, like because Jay Crowder is clearly regressing. As much as it hurts for me to say that,
especially in DMs.
What's that?
Especially in DMs. You haven't seen that message?
Yeah,
I think we saw it at the last show.
Yeah, we did.
Man.
DMs, man. Yeah, and maybe that got to him.
Yeah, he hasn't recovered.
Yeah. But yeah, you can. I mean, Cameron Payne works out for him, but I mean,
they need a better backup point guard. That's what they need.
Yeah,
if they could have functioned a trade to get Miles Turner, TJ McConnell, and something, then that would have been good. But I felt like they were just backed into a corner. And when someone signs a player to an offer sheet, you don't have much time to think.
No.
So I'm just like, hey, like it's not like we didn't want the guy. We just didn't want to pay him over 5 years. This one, we could pay him only 4 years. So like, hey, we can take that.
Yeah. No, I'll give you that. I can see where that's a valuable decision.
But Seyi,
speaking of Valanciunas, speaking of Valanciunas, he was like in some like Lithuanian talk show, and they asked him. Thing. Yeah, you saw that? Yeah, they asked him to imitate LeBron. So he just did this, and then all of a sudden he just flopped. That's how he imitated LeBron. Did you see that was
somebody like retaliated by showing a highlight tape of LeBron killing the Raptors and Valanciunas being upset every time? It was like a bunch of post fades, and Valanciunas was mad every time. Every time he made like an incredible post fade, and it was all one game, like the same quarter. And Valanciunas is on the bench sitting down like every time.
Hilarious.
Man, hey, bro. But we talked about this a little bit earlier. But how you feel about Donovan Mitchell or Westbrook to the Knicks, bro? Which one do you feel like is more likely? Do you feel like either of them are possible at all?
I feel like the Knicks would be stupid to take either of them.
Yeah,
unless the Knicks, if they take Westbrook, if I'm the Knicks, I'm getting what the Jazz got for Gobert. I need a whole decade of draft picks if you want me to take Westbrook. One draft pick is not enough. I need a whole decade. I need all of your draft picks. You want me to take this guy? I do not want him on my team. Give me a whole decade. We already paid the house for Jalen Brunson. We want this to be his team. So if you want Westbrook to interfere with that, give me a whole decade of draft picks. I know, but hey, at least they got a decent young player. He's not a star, but they got a decent young player. But nah, I'm not taking Westbrook. And Donovan Mitchell, like you saw with the Jazz asking price for him, I'm not taking that either. I didn't put it past the Knicks to actually take that, but I wouldn't take that either. But think about it.
How they gonna sell tickets?
Jalen Brunson, Villanova's finest.
Nah, you got to get Donovan Mitchell to sell them tickets, man.
You got Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt. That's a recipe for disaster on defense. Like, anybody can see over them. They're only like a couple inches taller than me. They'll look like regular people regular swole people on the basketball court outside in Cliftondale.
Yeah, like, Donovan Mitchell's weird because he's still. Well, I don't know why it still seems like he's 6'5". Like, I don't know what it is about Donovan Mitchell.
Shouts out to whoever lied about his height in pre-draft because they listed him 6'4". So he was a lottery pick. If they showed his real height was really 6'1", he would not have been a lottery pick. Still a great pick regardless, but if they showed he was a 6'1" shooting guard, he would not have been a lottery pick.
They can't play defense? Oh, yeah. Definitely not.
Exactly. That's a problem with shooting guards like that, undersized shooting guards. Like, you got to have a bigger point guard next to them because they're just going to be defensive liability.
Brunson,
man.
Oh, you must be a Mavericks fan. You must be a Luka. Not Mavericks fan. You must have been a Suns fan. You must have been a Devin Booker fan.
That's more.
Hey, Devin Booker Brunson bodied Devin Booker.
Oh yeah, that was funny. That was after Devin Booker was talking trash too.
Called him the P word.
That was a funny little interesting tidbit between those.
Oh two. No, he said the soft word. Well, basically, but he played the sophomore.
Yeah. But so yeah,
I
so
think
you don't
Brunson's
think
gonna be good though. I think Brunson was a little held back with Luka's ball dominance when Luka was out of injury. Brunson almost single-handedly took out the Jazz from the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
the
Jazz. It's the Jazz.
I mean, but still, they got two players that you would expect to be better than Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Rudy Gobert. You would expect them we expect the Mavericks without Luka, essentially their whole team, to lose against the Jazz. But Jalen Brunson all of a sudden averaged like 25 a game. So, like, who knows?
That's
I
literally
think he's going to be their leading scorer. He's definitely playing 40 minutes under Thibodeau, but he's going to be their leading scorer.
Between him, Dubious Handles, aka Funny Marco, and RJ Barrett, I definitely see him being the leading scorer. I mean, first of all, you got to legitimize paying him. So I think the coach will even draw it up for him to score the most points just because he's the one getting the most money.
His dad is in the coaching staff. They just hired his dad to the coaching staff.
Yeah.
His agent's dad is the general manager of the New York Knicks.
It's crazy.
So there was a lot of things setting up for him getting that much money, getting that $25 million a year. There was a lot of things
trading.
It's
insiding.
Why do you think they got fined? Like, how isn't that tampering? What possible way that can't be tampering?
But speaking of Luka being ball dominant and the team playing almost just as well without him, how do y'all feel about John Morant? Every time he was out, the Grizzlies didn't. I think they lost like 3 games without him last year. Like, how do y'all feel about that situation?
Well, overall, I won't say they're a better team without John Morant. It's just that the ball moves a lot more without John Morant. So, and the ball moves a lot more. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still all NBA players, so they're still all are capable. Tyus Jones, I think that's just the one thing. Like, we just discount like how good Tyus Jones is as a backup. He's arguably the best backup point guard in the NBA, and they paid him as such. I believe they gave him $15 million a year as an extension. So like he could start for some teams, but we saw how the Grizzlies struggled against the Warriors in the playoffs when John Morant went down, because when it came to the final seconds of the game, they just didn't have a guy that could get them a bucket. Like, the ball moves around.
At least draw a foul.
Exactly. Draw a foul, get a bucket. Like, Desmond Bain can shoot some threes. Jaren Jackson is a good scorer, can play some defense, but they just didn't have a guy that, like, when you need that bucket, draw a foul. They didn't have that, and that's what John Morant is. So maybe John Morant, like, this next season, just move the ball a little bit more. He doesn't need to have as many assists as he had the season before, because sometimes assists can mean that they just hold the ball too much. So he can have less assists and be a less selfish of a player. So I just think that's just probably it. But they're still a better team with John Morant. John Morant is one of the best players in the NBA.
No question.
Definitely one of the most fun. And Ivory brought up a good point that I didn't even think of. I forgot about the fact that Thibodeau is like super, you better play defense. So yeah, I think Brunson, I don't think he's gonna end up getting Kemba though.
He's not Kemba Walker bad defensively.
Kemba's on one leg. Yeah, Kemba's on one leg. Kemba's on one leg right now.
It was funny watching the Knicks have 2 of the guards in the league with the worst knees. My man Rose and Walker, man. It's bad.
Yeah, that was weird, but that was weird. that was weird. Kemba Walker thought he was gonna have this big parade. He was coming back to New York where he's from to play.
Bronx's finest. Bronx finest. I thought it was gonna be good. But nah, like, Celtics fleeced giving away Kemba Walker. They traded Kemba Walker for Al Horford.
Al Horford, man.
Yeah, Al Horford really mattered, man. Boy, that one game in the Warriors series where he was in the finals, where he went super stupid. That was against the Warriors, right? Where he went like super stupid.
Game 1 where he had 6 threes.
Yeah, man.
5 of them in the 4th.
That was ridiculous, bro.
I thought he was so washed when he was in Philly. I don't know.
There's one guy for that. It's Brett Brown. He has to be the most atrocious head coach I've ever seen. This is why I thought Embiid was in the running for MVP. And that's what I thought Doc Rivers is perfect for. I don't think Doc Rivers is a good coach either, but I think he's an ego coach. I think he can handle those great players that, like, have an ego that, are or just prominent voices or prominent players, right? And
Everybody
Phil
but
Jackson
Ben
was the best
Simmons.
one for that.
Yeah, and he knows where to put Embiid. Embiid had an issue with Brett Brown where he was always like 10 feet away from the basket. It's like, dude, get your ass to the paint. It was always frustrating watching Embiid, but Doc got him to the spot, and now look at him. He's runner-up for MVP, got a chance to win it next year. So, I mean,
One thing with Doc Rivers is whenever Doc Rivers is the coach, the big men always have career years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the Celtics average subpar big men that they had. And then that Chris Stitch. Who else? Even Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins had career years under Doc Rivers. So
I make the claim that if Perkins never got hurt, 2010, the Celtics would have won the NBA championship. If Perkins never got hurt.
I mean, someone had to defend Andrew Bynum, so that's
exactly. And then
that's
valid.
valid.
That's a name.
Record for the offensive rebounds in one game. You want to know why?
Tips hates bad defenders, but he also needs someone that can score a bucket. The problem with Kemba Walker is Kemba Walker's offense wasn't good either. So Kemba Walker always been a defensive liability, but his offense will make up for it. His offense, he was shooting sub 40, so he couldn't put him on the floor regardless. Jalen Brunson is going to be good enough, at least in the offensive end. And at least with the Knicks, he can just guard point guards. He doesn't need to guard different positions. Sometimes in the Mavericks, they got bigger guys now with Spencer Dinwiddie, Luka Doncic, but he'll guard bigger positions. And then all of a sudden he'll be a mismatch. At the end of the day, when you're a 6'1" guard in the NBA, you're always going to be a defensive liability. But yeah, if your offense can offset your bad defense, you're fine. And I think his offense is going to offset his bad defense.
My thing is with New York, the efficiency is going to be bad. Because, I mean, Brunson can score, but he's going to have off nights, obviously, especially if he's playing 35-plus minutes a game, right? So he's going to have those off nights. And then R.J. Barrett is already inherently not efficient in the NBA, right? And then they have a rotational Emmanuel Quigley. I don't know if you know, but he is the biggest Chuck artist in the NBA.
I know.
Down the floor.
He's the prototypical Knick player. That's why Emmanuel Quigley's great. He's a prototypical New York Knick player. The Jamal Crawfords, the Nate Robinsons.
It's not even just New York Knick. New York, period. Every time you play a pickup game in New York, the whole team is full of guys like that consistently.
Thibodeau gave the wrong man the green light. The wrong man the green light. He has not looked back since, bro. Yeah, it's bad.
So where do you feel like this Knicks team is actually going to finish? You think they're going to be trash like last year, or they're going to be good like 2 years before?
Playing.
I say that's fair, yeah. Honestly, I would trade Randall if they could.
I make this claim every time, and all my friends that are Knicks fans hate me for it. The year that they went in the playoffs and played the Hawks, and I think they had the 4th seed, and the Hawks had the 5th. Yeah. They were the only team to not get affected by injuries or COVID. Julius Randle played 71 of 72 games. RJ Barrett.
Regular season Randle.
RJ Barrett played all 72 games. Like, those are the two best players, right? There's not a single team that could say the same thing. They didn't avoid injuries or COVID. Everybody had COVID.
Good point.
That's smart. Yeah, I mean, that's a smart take. Yeah,
they had the only team that literally had just straight cohesiveness all year.
That's why they were winning because they were going against G League players and they still had their whole starting lineup.
So when they got the playoffs and everybody's like, "Oh, nah, the Knicks got it. They got it, man. They got this boy Trae Young. They got the defense and everything." I'm like, bruh, the Knicks ain't proved nothing, bruh. Now
they had great defense because they were going against the top G League prospects. That's why their defense looked good.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. They were like the healthiest team of all time through a season.
The funny thing is the season after that, then everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
Except for RJ Barrett. Everybody got hurt on that team. Like they had lineups with Obi Toppin finally getting minutes. One thing I don't get, you spend a top 10 pick on a player, but you don't play him. Like it took Julius Randle getting hurt that was the most exposure we've seen him dunk contest.
It's the only time I've seen that man do anything.
But even Cam Reddish traded for this man, And this man, at least he was a sixth man for the Hawks during the playoff time. Like, I'm not saying Cam Reddish is that good because I was never really sold on him, but I feel like he's at least a rotation guy now. He couldn't even crack the Knicks rotation.
Yeah, not as bad.
Man, I thought because when he was on the Hawks and he barely got any PT until like that Bucks series when there was some injuries. And so when he got traded to the Knicks, I was happy for him. I was like, yeah, he's going to potentially go for a bigger role. And it got worse. Like he's just sitting there in the refrigerator. And remember, I mean, of course not in the NBA. This isn't like true, but I remember back when Ant, before he got drafted, he was like, who's the best player you ever had to play against before you hit the NBA? He said Cam Reddish easily. He said it was like easily by far Cam Reddish. So I think there's a little potential there. I just think he needs to go somewhere with a bigger role.
There's one thing when you're a 6'9" athletic guy in the NBA and you're a 6'9" athletic guy in high school.
Yeah.
Cam Reddish had the same body type in high school.
And that's why I sort of agree with what you just said, Reek, where you said he needs just a different opportunity somewhere. I think he needs a different opportunity in a smaller role because I think he could excel on a backup forward role. I don't think he can be.
He was that in Atlanta, and he wanted to get traded because he wanted a bigger role.
Yeah. And if anywhere is the one place, it's New York. So you're going to get an opportunity in New York, and he's not good enough to crack the lineup for some reason.
What if they do this, right? They just keep Cam Reddish there, somehow fire Thibodeau just so they can get a coach that will actually play him, and then they can wait till 2027 so Zion can come to New York so they can have RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Zion Williamson. Bring back the Duke team.
That would be fun. I'm not gonna lie. That would actually be really fun.
I know Knicks fans want that to happen. They want Zion so bad.
But Zion wants the Knicks so bad too. He wants to live in New York. That man loves New York, man. I feel him.
That was might be one of the greatest nights of my life. Seeing the Knicks drop in the draft lottery a couple years back when they had the
love it. First pick. I love it. I love it.
It was beautiful.
Hated on. But Ivory said Knicks aren't improving. Is going to be bad. Wizards are the team in the East that's going to make a move, probably 6 to 8 seed with Morris and Barton addition.
The team in the East. I just saw the team in the East, and that was funny. But team in the East that's going to make a move. What move? They put all their salary into Bradley Beal. What move can they make?
Hey, that man Ivory's hilarious. I'm sorry, nah. I can see the Hornets making the jump, but not the Wizards, bro.
Who is their point guard? Monty Morris? Really?
Yeah, what's it call it left? Ish Smith? I think he went somewhere.
Yeah.
I forgot where he went.
I think he has the record now for most teams by a single player in NBA history.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he did.
So the ultimate journeyman, he's literally traveled nearly to every single NBA team.
Yeah, the Knicks. Yeah. I think Ish is I think he's on the Hornets now, actually, or something like that. He's somewhere. But I think everybody can admit that Hachimura is not going to be what they thought he would be. Thomas Bryant is, I guess, something. And then
Thomas Bryant's not even on the team anymore. He's on the Lakers.
Oh, that's
they
right.
signed him. Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
Daniel Gafford is a decent big. Daniel Gafford is decent.
And then, Kuzma, I guess. I just don't see the scoring.
Avia is a solid switchable defender. Yeah, the team's rock bottom. Look, they was hey, Beal at least sells us tickets. And they're we're not going to win a damn thing, but Beal sells us tickets. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to pay him the house. And if I'm Bill, why would I reject? They're paying me that much money. I don't care about championship. I'm getting $50 million. What do I need a ring for? I could buy a ring.
I'm guessing that Ivory is a DC fan. He's a Wizards and a Commanders fan because there's no way.
Most of this comment section are. I love it. I love it. All of them are delusional for both teams.
There's no way this delusion for the Wizards is coming anywhere else but from a fan.
Say this again. Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is the guy you're believing in. Yeah. Tell me when he can play an 82-game season. That's your big three? Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, and Bradley Beal is your big three. Oh, my God.
Nah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
the play. ready for the play-in championship. Trying to take the title from the Timberwolves.
Being plus each. Yeah, but everybody has a team with players with 20 plus each. A lot of teams have 3 players with 20 plus each. Like that is not doing it. Just not doing it.
I'm hoping the best for him, man. I'm definitely. I mean, because Porzingis is really fun to watch when he's healthy. So I hope he balls out. And then Bradley Beal.
Keyword when he's healthy. Keyword.
You gotta factor that.
Lit. It's like, but Ant respects Porzingis more than he respects Gobert. Yeah,
who I like as teams to fight in the East and West. Well, Western Conference, hey, like Denver Nuggets, the Western Conference in general is going to be strong. Denver Nuggets, if they could get
I haven't seen Murray play in like 2 years, man.
Yeah, Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Like they get those 2 back. I think this is a team that could contend, and also the Clippers. If Kawhi comes, we don't even know what's going on with Kawhi, but he comes back. That team is stacked. That team is stacked when Kawhi comes back.
Top 5, and with Robert Covington and Paul George, and I mean they have plenty of guys that can stay on the floor with Kawhi and PG and get it done. They just have plenty of guys, and I think Zubac, they just gave him an extension or something like that, and he's a perfect big for them. And but as far as I think the guy wants to know like teams outside of the playoff. But yeah, we did hate on them for KP, but they got Michael Porter Jr. and with his back. I guess there's
but he's so fun to watch when healthy. I mean, again, I'm gonna emphasize when healthy, like I did with Porzingis, but he's one of those guys I just like watching. Even as a guy that doesn't even watch a lot of basketball, when Porter's going crazy, I gotta pull up. I'll at least watch the highlights. I don't know, it's something about the way he plays. I just love it. But again, I mean, back problems are scary for any sport. I mean, even if you're just playing golf, back problems are scary, let alone basketball.
But hey, at least with the Nuggets, if he's out, they still got an MVP candidate that can at least bring him to 5th place. Nearly by himself.
Yeah.
Wizards don't got that.
I mean, in the West, I think plenty of teams. I think the obvious team that didn't make the playoffs.
Hating. Oh. My bad, Jalen. I didn't see this comment by Rich. He said I'm hating. Tell me what was the Wizards' record last season?
Why? There's way too much optimism for the Wizards.
They delusional.
My biggest gripe with the Wizards is that the owner wants to literally be average and sell tickets. He doesn't like one thing about Dan Snyder, even though we hate him for a lot of reasons. At the end of the day, he does want to win a Super Bowl. The Wizards owner seems like he's just perfectly fine with just doing what he got to do to sell tickets, and that would highly upset me because that's the same thing as having like a Kirk Cousins at quarterback, just being perpetually average, like the Hawks were the whole time we were in middle school and high school with the Al Horford and Jeff Fatigue and Paul Millsap team. I can't stand being perpetually average. That's the word. I prefer to be terrible and get the talent to become great. That middle, man, nothing makes me more mad as a fan than that for me.
That is frustrating because you probably in the regular season you out here killing the terrible teams, then you run through a great team, you get
run into LeBron. Yeah. They can sit back-to-back years. Man, the Hawks had no chance, man.
Come play out time, get embarrassed. Like I can see that why that'd be super frustrating.
Makes me more mad than anything else being potentially average.
The Wizards aren't even they're not average. They can't. They were in the play-in 2 years ago. They didn't make it. Last year they didn't make the playoffs. That's not average. That's just bad.
They're saying health though. They're saying health.
Question: if Kristaps Porzingis couldn't play with Luka Doncic, what makes you think he's going to play well with Bradley Beal?
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's something that I mean, I don't like Porzingis that much. I think he can score and he can bring this uniqueness because he's a 7'3" guy that can basically score on any way on the floor. But he's not he's not your second go-to scorer, which he basically is. Because I mean, I'm not giving the Kuzma the ball at the end of the game and go get a bucket, bro. Obviously,
and then him playing center, like that's just a recipe for disaster defensively. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
He doesn't have the speed to play the 4 anymore after all those injuries. He doesn't have that speed anymore that he had when he was in the Knicks.
Nah, I hope the best for him, man. I mean, I already know, like Ant. I've already just given up on Ant in Minnesota after that trade. He's just going to have to go somewhere else. But yeah, I hope the best for the Wizards, man. I hope they improve because I mean, just with me being a Commanders fan, I want them to do well as well. I'm not a Wizards fan, but man, I really hope so. But I mean, Westbrook on the Wizards was really fun. That I love that. I mean, of course, y'all know me. I love when Westbrook plays well. Of course, the Lakers was never going to work out because he's the third option. He don't know what to do.
So
he literally be looking around like, what am I supposed to do? I can't spot up shoot, and I don't have the ball in my hands. Why am I here? And then with I think it was a game where Anthony Davis and LeBron were both hurt, and Westbrook looked like 5 years ago again. Of course, so I hope he ends up going somewhere else. I hope the Lakers. Everybody would be happy if Westbrook were no longer on the Lakers. The Lakers fans would definitely be happy. Even though I kind of like seeing Westbrook sabotage the Lakers because I don't like the Lakers. I don't like a lot of Lakers fans. So watching Westbrook get paid some of the most money in NBA history to sabotage the Lakers is actually a win-win for me. But I would like to see him go redeem his name somewhere else. And I mean, he's not going to win a playoff game, but he could take a team to a play-in at least.
It's tough. I don't hate seeing LeBron's last years get wasted like that, but
yeah, that's the sucky part.
I hate the Lakers, so I was like, seeing them out the playoffs, it was beautiful.
I do want to get back to a Wizard stat since I'm seeing the comments here.
Yeah.
So I seen a stat that says that Beal doesn't dominate the ball. Well, I'm gonna go to 2021 since I know Beal was pretty injured before then. So the 2020-2021 season, Bradley Beal had the third highest usage rate in the NBA. Only two people higher, Steph Curry, because Steph Curry pretty much dominated the ball that time. Nobody else was on that team.
Everybody was hurt.
Yep, and Luka Doncic. He had the third highest usage rate, but Bradley Beal doesn't dominate the ball.
I mean, there is a point to that though, because Luka is the most ball dominant thing I think I've ever like.
Oh yeah,
it's literally even when he gives the ball to somebody, it's kind of like he wants it back. He was just trying to.
But Beal is not that far off. Beal is not that far off.
And Rich,
but it's not Luka though. Like it's Luka's hilarious.
They hit that 8th seed that year on the COVID year. They did get that 8th seed. I just remember them losing to Boston in the first round of the play-in game. I remember them losing that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, I think they got the 8th seed and played. Was it Philly? I think it was Philly, something like that.
Hey, man,
even when they still lost, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm hoping the best for him, man. But I mean, yeah, I really want to see my boy Westbrook go. I think Westbrook on the Knicks would be my best combination. It would be just so funny to watch how hyped they are. He go for 30, 12, and 12.
If they trade for Westbrook, they're buying him out immediately. I would do that. They're
you
buying
gotta
him
sell
out immediately.
You gotta sell tickets.
All right, so
there's no way the Knicks are trying to win the finals anytime
if there's
soon.
one thing I could give Knicks fans, they're delusional, but they're also usually a Knicks fan is they're pretty a smart basketball mind. Usually, the average Knicks fan knows about basketball. They would not want Westbrook on that team. They would not.
All
they
that
would
yelling,
boo Westbrook. They would boo
all that
Westbrook
we
every time he touches
outside.
the
You
ball.
can't see them feeding into the bing bong. We outside.
There is nobody perfect for New York more than Russell Westbrook. He is literally the epitome of what they need in that town right now.
Bruh, selling tickets, having fun, winning just enough games to not get Victor Wembenyama, but not enough games to do anything in the playoffs. Like just perfect Knicks, just average for the next 10 years. Speaking of Victor, how y'all feel about it? Y'all feel like he really about to be like the best player to hit the league since LeBron? Like, how y'all feel about that?
Well, granted, I haven't seen much of him, so I can't really judge. I've just been watching the tapes. I'll try to see if I can find some EuroLeague games this year to see him. But man, this guy is 7'3", can shoot the three. can put the ball on the floor. I mean, it's basically like Chet Holmgren, but better. So
literally better.
Y'all take him number one.
I can see him.
Oh yeah. Every team is going to be deliberately tanked. This is why I love the current lottery right now, where the percentages like for getting a top pick are lower for the worst teams. Like it's never guaranteed they're going to get the top pick anymore. So now teams are going to try to tank, but they know like, hey, like even if we try to get the most losses, there's no guarantee we're going to get number one. So
yeah,
hey, we might as well have to play at least.
I still got my money on the Pacers or the Magic. I think those are my two.
Oh no. I think Spurs. I got my money on the Spurs right now. You see their squad?
Yeah,
I got the Spurs.
It's true.
Orlando
they were bad with Dejounte.
Orlando has some players that have grown that have some roles now. Like Wendell Carter came on like the last half of the season, second half of the season, and then you got R.J. Hampton on another year. I guess Cole Anthony on another year. Wagner and his brother another year. I mean, and then now you got Paolo. So like they got some things going on. I think
I can see Magic probably doing some things. I don't know if they'll be the worst team, but they'll be close.
I would take them. I don't think the Magic are the worst team. I just think they should tank, and I can see them tanking so that Paolo and Victor together would be insane.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be cool.
Yeah, that's why I got my money on them.
He's also a dark horse too. I think Markelle Fultz is probably their best point guard right now. Just that we don't know because we don't watch the Magic. But Markelle Fultz is averaging 10 a game in 20 minutes when he came back.
I watched the Magic. I don't like Markelle.
You didn't see when he came back?
What's up?
When he came back from injury last season, he was balling.
I've gone to a bevy of Orlando games because I've lived maybe like 2 hours away from Orlando. And the Magic games, Markelle is not – they're not going to move forward with Markelle Fultz, bro. Like, he's just on the roster is the way I see what's his name?
So how you judge his comeback?
Paul Mobley. Huh?
How did you judge his comeback? He was playing well.
Yeah, but Cole Anthony's still getting the bulk of the minutes.
Yeah, but Cole Anthony, while he scores a lot, he doesn't score a lot in an efficient manner. So I'd say I'd look at him at backup point guard. To me, he's a backup point guard.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying Cole Anthony is substantially better than Markelle Fultz. I just think they are forcing the issue with Markelle. But
Markelle outplayed Cole Anthony.
They're forcing the issue with Cole Anthony. Yeah. And they're gonna keep giving him options, and then R.J. Hampton's filling the other guard spot, and along with Paolo now. So this Markelle Fultz is gonna be dropping in the depth chart.
I think he's gonna be the starting point guard next season.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Jalen Suggs will be playing the 2, and he'll be playing the 1 with Cole Anthony. At least that's what I would do. Cole Anthony will be the 6th man. I have this athletic lineup: Suggs, Fultz. Then you have Wagner with stretching the floor out. You got Paolo at the 4, Wendell Carter at the 5, Jonathan Isaac as a backup because just come from injury, and you got Bamba
playing.
Say again.
Will Jonathan Isaac touch the court? Will he be playing any minutes this year? That man is. I'm not talking about. That man don't play nothing. He's been in the league
for such a good young player. He is so fragile.
5 years, and I think he's like 100 games. This man is not.
This man's been on Fox Network more than he's been in an NBA game.
I would love to see. I think Victor. For me, again, I don't think the Magic are gonna be that bad, but I just think Victor on the Magic would be so fun. I think that would just be so beautiful with Paolo. I thought Jabari Smith should have gone ahead of Paolo, but in summer league, but Paolo looks really good, and he looks like more of an efficient scorer than I thought he would so far.
Yeah, I thought so too, that Jabari should have went over Paolo, but I think it's just something we don't factor. Well, granted, Auburn's not a bad team either, but Duke had a lot of talent on their team. So Paolo had to stand out from that talent. While Jabari, for example, he had one other guy. I forgot his name. He had one other guy in his team, but outside of the prospects, it was really just him. He's the focal point. That's what Auburn usually does. They have one one focal point prospect. Last year was Sharif Cooper that they'll put into the spotlight. Freshman played out, they'll put into the spotlight. But Duke has Coach K as the coach, and then Paolo has all these other top high school recruits that he's competing against in the same lineup or that he's sharing the ball with. And also, I thought his defense wasn't really that great in Duke. At least I didn't think it was. But in the summer league, he was playing good defense, perimeter and playing good interior defensively. At the end of the day, of the three, he's always been the most NBA-ready prospect. Yeah. It was just that Jabari Smith could add the most potential. But the thing with Jabari Smith is he's not really a shot creator. He's a guy that you need a good point guard that's going to give him the ball, because the Rockets guards in the summer league were not giving them the ball. They were trying to get their own shot. Ty Washington, he was trying to get his own shot. Josh Christopher, he was trying to get his own shot. So, but he's not a guy that's going to demand the ball. Beccaro is going to demand the ball. So that's the difference.
Yeah, I think Orlando wanted that spark rather than working with Jabari. And I think they went the right route. I think Jabari might have been easily the better player, in my opinion. I just think for Orlando's situation, it makes sense to snatch Beccaro.
At the end of the day, Jabari could also have a lower floor, and that's the problem. Like, what if Jabari just grades out as a simple role player? Like, he could also have a lower floor. So they made the great pick. They need a guy that could be a go-to scorer, because they don't have that in Magic. They already have a lot of long, lanky defending guys. They need someone who can put the ball in the bucket.
Yeah.
Tank for Victor. I don't know why. That's just one of my favorite destinations for him. I just think that would be such a great setup with the way that team is built, man. I think they need to go ahead and tank for Victor. I'm not going to lie. The Spurs, I don't know, man. I love Pop, especially like real life wise, like off the court, but I just don't want to see him on the Spurs, man. I think the Spurs probably are the worst team in the NBA, but I just don't want to see it, man.
Isn't there like I feel like that's the most fitting team for a French 7'3" unicorn.
They do have an international program over there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see a more perfect team other than the Spurs. Like he's a little bit taller than Tim Duncan. He's French. That could be their new star. You know, I mean,
he's 7'2", right?
7'3".
They say 7'5". There's a picture of him next to Chet and a bunch of other tall people. He looks 7'5" because there's a 7'3" guy, and he's clearly taller than him in that picture. I gotta go find that picture.
Jesus.
Hold on, let me go find that picture, bro. Victor Wembanyama. I'm gonna try to screen share it. He's clearly taller than everybody there, bro.
It's one thing we gotta factor. Like, this is what Luka, for example, when Luka was in the EuroLeagues, he was MVP. He's the best player in EuroLeague when he got drafted. Wembenyama is already starting at age 18, 7'3". He's already starting and getting minutes. His shooting percentages are not too great, but the fact that he's already starting in the EuroLeague is a tougher league than college basketball. That in itself should show you like he's a legit player at that age, because usually outside Luka was a special case, and you see how good Luka is in the NBA right now. Most European guys that get drafted in the top 10 in the NBA draft, they're usually are either backups or barely play at all in the EuroLeagues. They just got a lot of potential, so the NBA will draft them in the top 10. Dragon Bender was a perfect example of that, and he turned out to be a bust. Kristaps Porzingis, I believe, was a backup. I think he was starting like that last season, but he was more like a role player. He wasn't like their star, but they bank on their potential. Wembenyama is already starting games, so just that in itself.
I gotta do my settings to share it, but just literally Google Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. You'll see this picture with all the tall people. Man, how tall is Chet Holmgren exactly? How tall is he?
I heard 7'1". I think 7'1" is his official height.
He's easily 2-3 inches taller than him. Easily, like if you look at the picture, easily, like it's crazy. They make Jaden Ivey look like Chris Paul too. This is the funny part of the picture. I can't screen share because they're gonna make me force kick.
I know what the picture is. I've seen the picture.
That's ridiculous. Honestly, I'm not gonna. If I were drafting Victor Wembanyama, I would wish he was a little bit shorter, because I just feel like that little bit of extra height like if anything, just puts him at more risk to get hurt. I think him being 7 foot flat and the exact talent he has would be perfect. I think that extra height, I don't know, man. I don't think he needs it. If I were him, I wish I could just be a little bit smaller.
So this is something I read on Reddit. I'm not really an expert on injuries, but I've just heard someone make that same question, and then someone responded, the difference between Wembenyama and those other big men is that he's functional in that weight. The way he moves with his legs, he's not going to get hurt because as much as other big guys are, because his body's adjusted to his height.
They were clunky.
It's not that. Say it again.
I said they were clunky.
Yeah, or they move stiff, like his body's adjusted to his height. The way he moves, I mean, I could see like the way he moves like a wing. He doesn't move like a big. So the way he moves, like he's more adjusted to his height, so he's not going to get leg injuries from that.
Man,
but at the end of the day, if you got a 7'3" guy that can move like that can shoot like that, you got to take that number one regardless.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to. Yeah.
This type of NBA now, like you see guys like Evan Mobley, even though he's like 6'10", but like these 4.5 players, like that's what I call them. Like the guy that's between the 4 and the 5 position. Like they can play both. Giannis is a perfect example. The best player that plays that position of 4.5. Even Kevin Durant's a 4.5. Just guys that are like 7-footers that can play, that have guard skills, but can also defend and play the paint. Like those guys are now a premium in the NBA, and you need to get players like that.
Now, speaking of Giannis and KD, do you think Victor Wembanyama can guard those guys? Now, granted, technically nobody can, but do you think they'll do a better job?
That's the question. Like nobody can. So like I feel like that's also the problem people make too. Like people say like, oh, can he guard Giannis? Who can guard Giannis? Nobody can anyway. Yeah. So it's just more about like at the end of the day, like who can guard Wembanyama, and you got to think of it that way. Like if we get him, who can guard him?
So, but do you think he'll have a tougher time guarding the Embiids or the KDs?
Embiids.
The Embiids, he's gonna get bodied.
Yeah. I think he'll be actually a pretty good defender to put on KD because of all that length. You saw KD struggled against the Boston Celtics with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but Embiid is going to take him inside.
Yeah.
Speaking of Embiid, that French team is going to be crazy.
Oh, so Joel
Embiid is now is playing for France. They got Rudy Gobert, Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama, all in the same lineup. That is wild. I'm putting Wembanyama at the 3, Embiid at the 4, Gobert at the 5. I don't think USA could even beat that, honestly. And they got what? They got former NBA guys too on that team, like Nando Nikola. I think he'll probably be I'm not sure how old he is, but he's probably the starting point guard. All they need to do is
Frank
Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina is going to be decent for Euro basketball.
All they need to do is get Patty Mills to switch his citizenship up, because you know him. Whenever it gets to the Olympics, that man's scoring 40 a game.
Oh,
so
crazy.
They can somehow recruit Patty Mills to the French team.
Man's like Chris Paul in the Olympics.
I got my money on the French team. If they can somehow get Patty Mills on that team, I got my money on the French team for sure. Because first of all, we don't send our best players. Most of our best players don't really want to play for the Olympics. We always send.
Sucks. I don't get that.
Yeah, we always send there'll be a couple of really good guys, but it's not like our best. I mean, I like Bam Adebayo, but he was starting this center.
Marcus Smart went a couple years ago, bro.
And that's your boy. And you even.
There's not a player I like more than NBA, but there's no way Smart's going to the USA. Hey, but real quick, somebody commented and said that after Steph wins his 5th ring next year, he'll be the best guard since Kobe. He's already the best guard since Kobe.
Interesting argument.
What other guard has been anywhere?
Dwayne Wade?
No, stop. No.
Nah, Dwayne Wade.
That's interesting.
You gonna put Dwayne Wade over Curry all time?
No, I'm not saying I'll put him over Curry, but I would say he's the best guard since Dwayne Wade. Like Dwayne Wade is in that level too. So
I don't think he is. I don't think he's top 20. I think
when I grade players, I grade their absolute peaks. Dwayne Wade to me
Yeah, but
his absolute peak is every good as Kobe's.
You got to add there
at peak.
Oh,
I'm about to say, because when we say peak, like, are you including Tracy McGrady, or you got to play a little bit longer than that?
No, I'm just saying, like, how good you were at your absolute best, because then you have injuries that factor in. Because, like, even Tracy McGrady to me is in that level too. So
yeah, I love Tracy though. That's my boy.
I say he's like since Dwayne Wade. Not saying that Curry is better than Dwayne. I mean, Wade is better than Curry.
Yeah.
But that Dwayne Wade is on that level too of like Hall of Fame, superstar level, elite talent.
Okay, but here's my thing though. Like, are you including accomplishments, or are you just saying off a straight skill and
straight skill? Because I mean, at the end of the day, the Warriors, even without Curry, is still like his teammates, like in general, they're still one of the best teams of all time. Wade really only had that when he had LeBron and Bosh.
I don't agree with that. I don't think the Warriors are anywhere they resemble anything that they do now without Curry.
Yeah, I mean, Curry makes the team go round in general, but still, like, their organization, the front office, the fact that they had Kevin Durant for one period, Draymond Green is one of the best defenders ever, Klay Thompson is the best spot-up shooter ever. They have a squad. So,
but it's all like, a oiled machine.
But the thing is, I don't like putting accolades as always propping up a player, because at the same time you can put then why is Robert Horry not regarded as one of the greatest players ever? So I'm just saying, like, I always put it to skill. Like Dwayne Wade at his prime was crazy.
The accomplishments break the tie, but they don't hoist you up like Robert Horry with his rings, brother.
we gotta have a starting point, a starting criteria.
I think Wade is in that category, right? But I don't think he's close to Curry in that category, because I think like there's a handful of players that are far and beyond and closer to Curry than Dwayne Wade is. Because I don't think, like I said, I don't think Dwayne Wade's top 20, and Curry's easily just outside the top 10 in my opinion. I think he's like
I'm saying I'll probably put Curry over Wade, but I just feel like if we say since Kobe Bryant, I think that's disrespecting Wade.
There's like a name in the middle. What you're saying.
You might even say Harden too. Harden on the Rockets was crazy. You can even say that too. Like,
Harden.
There's been great guards.
But Wade and Kobe they kind of coincide.
Well, Kobe, same point as well. Kobe had Shaq. When Shaq left, Kobe was about to leave, so Lakers miraculously got Pau Gasol.
No, but I'm saying
that trade was crazy.
They had a squad.
But I'm saying they're
if Wade had that, he will have as many championships as well.
I'm saying their careers coincide. Like since Kobe and Wade basically retired.
You're saying Wade doesn't count because he basically played since Kobe. You're saying like after Kobe was done, who since then to Curry? And Wade doesn't count because he was part of the Kobe era.
LeBron?
I'm better than Kobe.
Oh, we're just talking about
guards,
right?
Just guards.
Yeah.
This is in terms of accolades. Yeah, I mean, Curry. If you're just talking about just straight up accolades, that's it. And Curry,
accolades and performance, because like you said, Harden, right? Harden is a bucket, but he has nothing. He has nothing to show. Absolutely nothing to show for it. So
I feel like he's just generation's Tracy McGrady. Just a guy who's probably you could argue he's the best player in the NBA, like during that peak, but just when it comes to the playoffs.
If you argue that, I couldn't talk to you.
Hey, what?
Argue that Harden was the best at his peak. Stop. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying if you argue. I'm not saying he was.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, but he was But if you're an MVP candidate, you can argue he's the best player. Whenever you're an MVP candidate, you argue they're the best player in the league. Tracy McGrady at that point too with the Orlando Magic, early time the Houston Rockets, same thing. When it gets to the playoffs, either Yao Ming gets hurt, Grant Hill got hurt in Orlando. Bad luck.
Here's why I completely disagree with that point because of this year's MVP. There's not a single soul that watches the NBA that thinks Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Not a single person.
And you know what? If he was an athletic black man, they'll probably say he's the best player in the NBA because of his appearance. Honestly, you could argue Jokic is the best player in the NBA.
No,
Jokic is averaging like a near 30-point triple-double, playing the center position. He has nobody on his roster, and that team went 4th or 5th in the Western Conference.
Here, and I'll give you a great example why he can't be revered as the best player, because during that Warriors series, there were times, and I understand he's a big man, but still.
You saw that man's picture? He was gassed.
There was times where he would be placed on the bench when it mattered most.
Because he was slumped like this. He had to carry the whole team. Like, they were just like, okay, Jokic, I get it. I know we're going to lose this series. You just got to give you a rest.
You can't be the best player if you're on the bench. This is
because your second best player is literally Aaron Gordon. You got to carry the whole team. That's not Jokic's fault. You saw that picture of how tired he was. He was like that Popeyes employee that was tired after serving all those sandwiches. It's the same thing.
I can't give it to him, bro. I can't. I don't think he's top 5 in the league right now. That's just my opinion, but
Jokic ain't top 5.
No.
Who's your top 5?
This
Jokic
man is slumped in that chair. Poor Jokic. Oh.
In no order: Giannis, Durant, LeBron.
Durant's better than Jokic right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yes. Durant. What I say? LeBron and
LeBron's better than Jokic right now. No.
Yeah. You're gonna take
LeBron in 2022 is better than Jokic right now. No.
Yes.
No. LeBron is still a superstar, still a top 10 player. He's not better than Jokic. He's not better than Embiid. He's not better than Giannis.
What about Embiid? As far as Jokic goes, what about Embiid?
Jokic.
You can argue Embiid.
Jokic,
I still put Jokic over him.
Embiid's not top 5. Jokic is.
You just got the center hate. You must hate centers, do you?
Centers. The best centers. What's it called? They like. What's the word I'm trying to say? They basically are. They're given a pass on who defends them. There are not too many good defending centers in the league, right? Like, look at Gobert, right? He's the pristine defending big man, right? But all he does is play defense. That's why he's not up there in the ranks of top players in the league, right? But a lot of these players, big men, they don't play defense.
Kevin Durant at this point doesn't play defense. Durant post Achilles. Kevin Durant is not the same defensively.
No, I'm not.
He's the same offensively, but not defensively.
No, he's not saying the player we're talking about. He's talking about, like, for Jokic, he doesn't have to go against great defending big men.
That's
basically it's saying LeBron has to go against great defending wingmen more often than Jokic goes against great defending big men. Is basically what he's saying.
Durant got the cavalry thrown at him against the Celtics, bro. Like, Luka doesn't get that. Luka doesn't get that. Now, granted, I did see the Warriors run a boxing 1 against him, which I've never seen a team ever run a boxing 1 against a center. That's
guess why they ran a boxing 1? Because there's nobody on their roster. Nobody else on the roster they have to worry about.
Exactly.
I said this when that series too. This is the first time I've seen a boxing 1 in the NBA. I guess since the Raptors ran it that one time. But like, there's a reason why boxing 1. Teams don't run boxing 1s in the NBA because NBA players are usually so good that they'll destroy that. It's only in college. The fact that they ran against the Nuggets proves that Jokic got nobody else on his team.
Nah, he has nobody else on his team. Elevate him as one of the best players in the league. He's not top 5. And then the 5th I have, which you can debate, and a lot of people will debate, but I'm going with Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard is
Kawhi Leonard. We haven't even seen this man.
I get that.
This man doesn't even have any cornrows anymore. Like, we haven't seen this man on a court in like 2 years. When he doesn't play, he has these twists when he doesn't play. But when he plays, he has cornrows. I was just making a point. Like, when only time he plays, he'll put his hair to cornrows.
Okay.
That's my 5. Since we clearly disagree, Rico.
Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. And you could add any other 2 after that, but that's my top 3 in general. Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. No order at all. but just Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid. No order, in no order whatsoever. It's just those three can add whatever two you want to add, but
I think that's crazy.
If you're saying this, like, yeah, Jokic there's not many. Okay, good defensive big man, sure, but Jokic dropped 40 on Gobert. Jokic dropped 40 on Gobert, and at the end of the day, like Jokic plays on the perimeter. They put anybody on Jokic, and they can't do nothing. They can't double team Jokic, and Jokic is going to find somebody with a dime. Mm-hmm. Jokic runs the whole offense. The fact that he's a center but he makes other people better with his passing, like he's a center that plays point guard. Because of that, they could play Jamal Murray at point guard. So Jamal Murray's a 2 playing the point. But the reason why they have a shooting guard playing point guard is because Jokic is a point guard, a 7-foot point guard that can also play center.
But here's my thing with what you just said about Jokic and praising him and what he's capable of making making his teammates look better as well, is you could say that for all the 5 that I listed. All the 5 that I listed. For LeBron, you could obviously
Durant make his teammates better. No.
What's that?
Does Durant make his teammates better?
I'm not going to say he makes his teammates better per se, but he definitely opens up the floor for those players. And he just has a bad roster. They don't run offense. They don't play off. They don't have a playbook. They don't have a playbook. They just go down the floor and do stuff. Mike Malone is one of the best coaches in the league. In my opinion, he should very well be winning like Coach of the Year back to back to back, because this man is taking these teams from nowhere without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And
LeBron James this season didn't make his teammates better. LeBron James was just won that scoring title, so he was just looking for straight buckets. He didn't care about anything else.
I'm sorry. Any team that puts Stanley Johnson at the 5 is not a team. They don't have players on that. That wasn't a roster.
I remember being excited about him starting. We were so excited. We were like, yes, Stanley, just somebody. Monk and Stanley Johnson need to start for the rest of the year. I remember that. I remember that era of Lakers basketball. That was funny.
The worst general manager of all time is LeBron James. I don't get why he likes having these type of players on his team. And they ended the year with Stanley Johnson running the 5 and Wenyen Gabriel. Who is Wenyen Gabriel?
I didn't even know he was still in the league. No, Wenyen Gabriel, you got drafted by the Portland Trailblazers. And I thought after he left the Trailblazers, he faded out for the league. When I saw him like randomly pop up in the Lakers, I was like, wait, Wenyen Gabriel is starting for the Lakers? Wenyen Gabriel?
Started.
I was like, what?
And he was
I didn't even know he was still in the league.
And he was bad. Like, at least Stanley Johnson would come in. It would be a spark because he would be out there hustling. He'd be one diving for loose balls.
Stanley Johnson was slick a revelation for the Lakers.
But Gabriel, I remember when the games I watched, I was like, what?
I'm sorry, but I'm going to run through their roster real quick. Stanley Johnson was playing the 5. He's 6'6". Right?
Okay, we can do this. We're going to do the Nuggets roster. It's just as bad.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, all right. So you got Stanley Johnson, who's 6'6", running the 5. You got Wenyen Gabriel. I'm gonna just say this again. Who is Wenyen Gabriel? Right? You got they brought DJ Augustine out of retirement to run point guard. What else is there? They got Austin Reeves was in the rotation, which he's a good young player, but he's nowhere near. He shouldn't be playing with LeBron.
He was the fourth quarter guy.
And
was in there every fourth quarter.
Who am I trying to bring up right now? Damn, who is it? All
right.
Completely forgot. If I remember it, I'll let you go. If I remember, I got you.
All right. Facundo Campazzo. I'm taller than him.
Okay.
Facundo Campazzo.
Okay.
I don't even know who that is. I ain't gonna lie.
You don't know Campazzo? All right, but
I missed that.
Marcus Cousins in 2022.
Okay.
I remember that.
PJ Dozier, who they traded.
Okay.
Brendan Forbes, who can't play a lick of defense.
Okay.
Aaron Gordon, who was their second best player.
Okay, but
Jeff Green, who should be in the retirement home.
He's still solid, though.
Okay, he's not better than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is their second best
player
on the Lakers.
But he didn't play.
Well, Malik Monk, Russell Westbrook.
All right, Westbrook, we're not going to talk about Westbrook. He don't count. But Malik Monk,
Malik Monk was a bucket. He was a bucket.
Yeah,
but
he was.
Michael Green.
Okay.
Jeff Green, who should be in retirement home.
Yeah.
Marcus Howard, who I'm taller than. Bones Highland, who is a rookie who had to play big minutes. Monty Morris, who was seen as a backup, but he was their third best player that past season. Will Barton, who couldn't score in the fourth.
Definitely not.
Austin Rivers. I don't think I need to say anything about that.
I forgot he was on that team. I ain't gonna lie.
James Ennis.
Yeah, these are bad rosters together without their best players.
Who they traded.
These are bad rosters without their best players. No question. And I'm trying to remember who this Laker player.
But where did they finish? Right? Where did they finish? They were 48-34. 6th seed in the Western Conference.
But that's Mike Malone versus Frank Vogel.
That is Nikola Jokic. He averaged 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists on 58% shooting.
Phenomenal player, but he's just not better than LeBron.
How is that not top 5?
That's because there's other players putting up all right, this is just statistically, he is easily probably the best player in the league. But there's the eye test as well. And Jokic,
the eye test, he made average Joes look like starting caliber players. That was the eye test.
I don't know if these are average Joes. Monte Morris is solid. Aaron Gordon's solid.
Those are average Joes, average NBA players.
Average role players. They're role players. They're like the average play.
And he brought that 48-34. Take Jokic out that team, they would probably be getting Paolo Banchero right now.
Okay, so
they probably got Chet Holmgren right now. So if you would take them out, Jokic out.
So take out Westbrook. Who you got?
I take out Westbrook. I mean, I got LeBron.
No, I know, but we're excluding Jokic though. So Jokic on the Nuggets. So you take it out LeBron on the Lakers.
If you take out LeBron,
none of those
are
role players.
Westbrook would actually probably play better.
I mean, because that's just a fit. That's clearly just fit. That's clearly just fit. But none of the people that I listed are role players. Monte Morris is a role player. Aaron Gordon is a role player. Wenyen Gabriel is not. Austin Reeves right now is not.
Austin Reeves could have started for that Nuggets team. Austin Reeves was decent. He was a nobody coming in, but he turned out to be decent.
I'm not hearing that. And then Stanley Johnson again. I know there's somebody I'm missing. There's somebody I'm definitely missing that got Carmelo. Carmelo Anthony has to be A, the most overrated player of all time, and B,
dang. Wait, don't do that to Melo.
He's trash right now, and I agree with you.
No. All time, he's the most overrated.
Oh.
Melo. And I'll tell you why. He's inefficient. Guess how many times he shot over? I think it was 35% from 3. Guess how many times? I think twice, if I remember correctly. Over 35%.
He was a mid-range bucket.
But that's the thing.
During his prime, the 3-point game wasn't like that. Curry changed it.
Here's the thing, though. You would think he's a mid-range bucket, but he only shot over 48%, I think, once. So he's not efficient from mid-range or from the field.
Back then, it was more about volume shooting. Like, nowadays, the NBA is different. Like, the rules, the more lax rules in the game allows for higher field goal percentages. He was a volume scorer. I mean, look.
A volume scorer that never led to wins.
Carmelo Anthony is a designated scorer, and that's why I like to call players like him, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, designated scorers, guys who will get you a bucket, probably nothing else, but they will get you a bucket. But in terms of guys that could get you a bucket, Melo is up there all time.
But that doesn't make you...
He was a player that cared about money, which is fine by me. I don't judge players that care about money because if I was an NBA player, I'll probably play for the money too. He didn't care about championship, so he's fine being on those Knicks teams and not winning. But still, like Melo was cold, and this is why I be trying to tell. And not that you're young because you're about my age, but trying to tell people that like teenagers who ask me like how good Melo was. And I'm trying to tell, I'm like that old age trying to tell like, yo, you don't know how good Melo was back in the day. Like Melo was a bucket.
I might love
Melo, but Carmelo, no, he was a bucket.
I can't hop on that boat just simply because I guess I just look at ball players different. And Melo being the absolute annoying Chuck god that he is, it's just frustrating.
I look at ball players different too. Look, I don't know if you write that text, Rico, but I got a lot of Twitter hate from Suns fans saying that I would rather trade Devin Booker than Mikal Bridges because
I
defense.
remember you sending me that.
He said,
"Hey,
no Melo slander, please. Most underrated player of all."
Okay, he's not underrated, but he's definitely not overrated.
He's in the top 75 of all time. You don't think that's blasphemy?
No, but I think Anthony Davis is blasphemy being on there, but not Melo.
Right. 80's peak was. You were talking about peaks. 80's peak is way better than Carmelo's peak, and you know that.
Yeah, but if we're talking about like an official list by the NBA, I'm not putting a guy who's been hurt like 7 out of his 10 years.
And I'm not putting the guy that's never
Dwight Howard.
And I'm not putting the guy that's never been to the finals or accomplished anything. No MVPs.
Because he took the money. Doesn't mean he wasn't a bad player.
But that makes you. Then you're not an NBA, like, you're not a top 75 NBA player, bro. I'm not hearing that, bro. I'm not hearing that. If we doing that off of peer scores, I'm taking the guy at the Rucker dropping 50 a night. Like, I'm not just saying Melo just because he can score. He can't. He's not. Ever since like his first couple years in Denver, he wasn't playing defense. The man was never a playmaker, and he wasn't the most efficient shooter. And yeah, I can understand the volume back 15 years ago. Not 15 years ago. That's deep. Probably just a decade ago, right? I can understand that.
But the difficulty of shots he was taking too, he got factored that into like his field goal percentage and the amount of defensive attention he was getting. If he had better teams around him, that field goal percentage would be higher. But he wanted to be the star. That was his Melo. He wanted to be the guy. When Jeremy Lin had that Lin Sanity thing, he did not like it. And he wanted, he wanted Jeremy Lin out of there. There's a whole podcast about that too. Like he wanted Lin Sanity out of there. He didn't want to share the spotlight.
This man said Carmelo won a championship for Syracuse. I hate him. I hate him. You're the same guy that says
Syracuse Carmelo though was cold too.
He's the same guy that says he's the same guy that says Al Horford deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, along with Joakim Noah because they won chips in Florida. I've heard that.
Basketball Hall of Fame, not NBA Hall of Fame. Basketball Hall of Fame, yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't.
Joakim is hilarious too. Have you ever just taken a vacation to Cleveland? Like, who says they're going to Cleveland on vacation?
The one man that had pure hate for LeBron James. It was so funny. The one man I could see would want to play with LeBron. Like, no matter if he had.
No matter what. And Joseph asks, Jalen, what are your thoughts on CP3?
Like, where's he at? Just right now or all time?
I guess all time. I'm assuming all time since the Melo talk was all time.
Oh, I mean, if we talking all time, Melo, CP3 is easily a top 5 point guard of all time. There's no question about that. But right now,
who's your top 5?
Top 5 point guards. You got to go Magic and Curry.
Those get so ugly. Okay, that's automatic.
Yeah, and then I might literally throw CP3 right there.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'm not going with the koozie. I'm not doing koozie.
Oh no. This ain't Mad Dog Russo. Like, no, we ain't putting that in there.
Yeah, no. But I think, this might get people mad. I don't like people saying that Curry is just like far and beyond better than Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson.
That's people who are like 15 years old saying that.
I wouldn't say that.
All right, I wouldn't say that because I've heard that so much over the coming, especially after the finals this year, that Curry is the best point guard of all time, no question. And I'm like, yo, nah. Nah. Curry, in my opinion, hasn't cracked.
You gotta ask him, how old are you? Like, because they weren't around in the 80s to even watch Magic Johnson play. Like, honestly, after Jordan, LeBron, you could put Magic as the 3rd best player ever, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You could put like either or 3rd best player ever.
I think in my list, Magic's 4th. Of all time, I got Magic 4.
And that's fair. That's fair. But like, I feel like it's top 5. Like,
yeah, easily top 5. Easily top 5.
Yeah, I got Magic above Curry for myself as well. I don't know. I mean, I know everybody brings up the fact that he had to start at center, when Kareem got hurt that one time and they won.
If Magic was in the
that was
NBA
still
today,
ridiculous,
it would be
bro.
wild. He would be ridiculous.
Everything
About
you want Ben
positionless
Simmons to be.
basketball.
I was gonna
That's
say
Magic in a nutshell. Like he would be crazy.
He's a much better Ben Simmons.
Literally, bro.
Think of Charles
Wasn't that his
Barkley.
rookie season when Kareem got hurt in the finals too? Was that his rookie season?
Yeah.
Where he had to start his center
at 5.
Like,
yeah,
golly,
play the
man,
5.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah, what about Charles Barkley too? Charles Barkley was in today's NBA. It'll be ridiculous.
He
You talking about
I mean, Charles Barkley
power
didn't have
forward?
If he didn't have to play
today's
in a
NBA?
Michael Jordan NBA, he would.
We probably would have been the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, that was like
time.
if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley would have been super like higher on people's list.
He would have won the championship, guaranteed. He would have won at least one.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
Joseph, the winning time put him higher.
I still need to watch that show. But Joseph did ask, what are our thoughts on John Wall going to the Clippers? Me, I like the signing. John Wall, when he did play for the Rockets like the year before, he was playing at least good to be a starting point guard. So he's better than Reggie Jackson at starting point guard. They didn't have a good point guard at starting. So. I like.
You like Reggie Jackson more of as an off the bench scorer than a starting point guard.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have him on the bench, but as a starting guard, nah.
The only thing I have against John Wall, as far as him being on the Clippers, is that the league has gotten to the point where it's just, where if you're on the floor at the end of the game, you need to hit that 3. And if Kawhi and Paul George have the ball down the stretch of the game, like, they're going to need Wall to sit there and hit a 3, right? And obviously John Wall he's not catching and shooting and making a 3, bro. This is not going to happen. And that ultimately will hurt them going down in the fourth quarter and stuff like that. But I think
also what the Clippers lacked was a playmaker. You had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard essentially running the point in that offense. Like they needed a legit true point guard. So they got that with John Wall. If like there's anything that John Wall is still going to retain is his court vision. So I feel like that's what they're really lacking. And John Wall, when he came back, when he played for the Rockies that brief period, he showed a much improved 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Look, he hasn't been playing for 2 years. I assume he's been working on that 3-point shot. So
yeah, I would hope. I would hope that's what he's doing.
Yeah, the Clippers definitely got better. It's just if they had a flaw, it'd be that going forward. In my opinion, I just think that
play Luke Kennard more.
I don't think Kennard is the answer. I don't think Kennard can do it. He can definitely shoot better, obviously, but I don't think he's the answer on winning them games.
Oh, he's food defensively. I know that. He is food defensively.
Still, that Clippers team is super boomer bust. Just looking at that roster, that is crazy.
Still can't believe Pistons picked them over Donovan Mitchell.
Hey man, there's a lot of draft mistakes. We could actually do that next show. We could go through the NBA draft and just look at what people drafted. Most notably Jokic. But we could definitely go through the drafts next week because that's always funny.
That boy getting drafted during the Taco Bell commercial, right?
I know he's drafted mid-second rounds. Something. That sounds about right.
Nobody knew, nobody paid attention, nobody cared.
When I was writing articles, though, when everybody was talking about how good Porzingis was, this is when Jokic was showing out for the Nuggets, but nobody still really knew who he was. I was trying to make the point, hey, don't sleep on that guy from Denver, Nikola Jokic. He might even be better than Porzingis. And look at him now. I don't know if I even released that article, but.
Hey man, we got to get you too, man. We got to get you going, man, with them articles, bro. Because I love that the under what's the call it the
top
the
25 and under.
Yeah, man, I love that. I love those. I love constantly updating those. I don't know how difficult it would be because football is weird, but you could do something like that with football.
The thing with football is I know a lot. I know about football too, but I know a lot more about basketball than I do about football. And all those positions, that's going to be hard to keep up. I'm going to forget about someone.
How do you compare?
I feel like you could write about something like that, but me, I got to stick to basketball on that one.
It's just difficult. How do you compare Pat Mahomes to Justin Jefferson? Yeah, to Derwin James, to to like. It's just the positions make it like you. I guess you would have to rank positional value first, like quarterback, then left tackle, edge rusher, corner. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how. I don't even know where to really start that list. But yeah, man, that was really fun. So Jalen, if you can join us next week again. We can continue some basketball debates. We still didn't get to everything. We could talk about some NFL stuff. We didn't get to all of that. We could definitely take a look at some past drafts because by then I'm gonna go ahead and do my settings where I can screen share again. And then yeah, man, anything y'all wanted to say before we dip up out of here?
Man, I just gotta say this: the Washington Commanders ain't gonna do good this coming season.
Are you a hater?
And
yeah, super hater. That's crazy.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
I mean, look at your quarterback.
Bro, y'all gonna stop hating on Carson. Bro, we
Thank
get 27-7.
Look at your quarterback.
Wentz. If we get 27-7, we're going to the playoffs. Like we were 5th seed last year with Taylor Heineke.
Last time I checked, Carson Wentz is better than Heineke, man.
Antonio Gibson. I am not listening to that.
I mean, fantasy, yeah, don't. I'm gonna tell you this year, don't draft anybody from fantasy. I love Terry McLaurin. Do not draft anybody from the.
Why not Terry McLaurin? Because
we about to sprint. Everybody about to get the ball. You got J.D. McKissic, Antonio Gibson. I think Brian Robinson's gonna get it. Jahan Dotson, who's our first round wide receiver, is going to get the ball more than people think. And Curtis Samuel wasn't even healthy last year, and I think he's going to be healthy this year. Don't draft anybody from our team on fantasy this year.
And then we got the most unpredictable guy of all time, Scott Turner. So
and
we don't know who getting the ball. We don't know who getting the ball in the offense, man.
Man, no idea. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But Carson Wentz is a whole tier above Taylor Heineke, so I'm not hating
we've had for like since Kirk, at least since Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. At least since Kirk, and Kirk is for us. I mean, he was just this man was just literally what do they call it, a game manager?
Literally,
that man was just a game manager. Yeah,
he was playing more for stats than for winning.
I mean, Rich, yeah, Carson Wentz is better than Daniel Jones. Anybody's better than Daniel Jones. So, like, if that's the Jones I'm hearing, yeah, anybody's better than Daniel Jones. That doesn't mean anything.
We had a backup all season long,
though.
We had a backup all season long. We got our receivers. We got a, I guess. I mean, the D line can't be worse than what for some reason.
I know you guys look very primed to be 7-10.
There's no way. We were 7-10 last year with Taylor Heineke.
Okay, 6 and 9.
COVID.
I mean, not 8 and 9. Yeah, 8 and 9.
An actual starting quarterback, the easiest schedule on the NFL, and
the NFC's trash, bro.
Exactly. We straight.
There's no reason we're not at least a 6 or 7 seed. Like there's just like you got to fire everybody if we're not a 6 or 7 seed.
But Patriots. Bill Belichick said, like, look, I'm running everything.
Wait, so you're optimistic about the Patriots, but not the Commanders?
Ain't gonna be no coordinators. I'm running everything. They ain't messing this up. I'm overseeing everything. I'm overseeing the offense. I'm overseeing the defense. Ain't no coordinators. It's just Bill effing Belichick. That's all it is on this staff.
There's no way you believe in them. Out of that division, there's no way you believe in them.
Mac Jones, like, look, he got that beer belly out the way. He's good.
We
straight. We straight. Devontae Parker's going to play at least 12 games a season, hopefully. Like, we're good.
That Bill Belichick had that man throw the ball 5 times one game.
And we won.
Yeah, y'all did win.
Yeah, didn't win. But his confidence was shot for the rest of the year. That man played like garbage the rest of the year.
Yeah, Davis Mills literally played like the best quarterback out of that draft class last year. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback, but he played the best last year on the Texans too.
So speaking of that, how is the verdict on Trevor Lawrence for you right now? I just feel like you had the worst possible situation that a human being can actually be in. So
yeah,
I think Ziggy,
tell my mom,
dismiss. I think his situation isn't worse than Justin Fields. I think it's bad, but I don't think it's Justin Fields bad. Justin Fields has the worst out of the whole thing.
I don't know about that, bro. You lose your head coach. That shouldn't have been a head coach to begin with. that was contemplating putting Tebow in the squad.
man, laying the bars with college girls after a loss.
Yeah,
I mean, I know the head coach was worse.
No,
the head coach was worse, but not dramatically worse. But the team. The Jaguars are easily a better team than the Bears. The Bears have no offensive line.
I mean, they could be a better team, but that dysfunction was next level. It doesn't matter about being a better team. We had that much dysfunction on your roster.
I mean, me as a player, that wouldn't bother me. Urban Meyer being weird, whatever. I'll take the team over the game plan.
The game plan all messed up and everything.
But it's not like the Bears had a better head coach. I mean. At least he wasn't doing Urban Meyer stuff.
He's not an offensive head coach.
Was trash, but anybody was better than him. But Travis Etienne saying like, I was glad I got hurt because I didn't want to be part of all that. Like his rookie year, and that was his rookie year. He said like, I'm glad I got hurt. Like, nah, man.
I still prefer to be Trevor Lawrence on the Jaguars last year. But Justin Fields has nobody, like nothing. Nothing going on. He just didn't have off the field antics to deal with.
Darnell Mooney was pretty decent.
I mean, I would probably pick him up in fantasy this year because who else is he gonna throw to? But bro, Jaguars compared to I think the Bears is literally the Bears, the Falcons, and I'm trying to think of who another team is that's probably gonna be 3 worst teams in the NFL this year. I think the Lions got better. I think the Jets got better.
I think the
Jaguars can be that
the Bears this year, I think, have less to be happy about than the Jaguars. But last year, I think it's not even close. I think the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence definitely had it worse than Justin Fields. Because there was like some optimism early on in the season, and with the Jaguars, I mean, dude, they're the Jaguars, and with Urban Meyer, it was just.
Oh yeah, if we're talking about expectations and where they ended up, yeah, there's definitely a bigger gap for the Jaguars than the Bears. But me personally, I don't know, maybe it's a personality thing. All that stuff Urban Meyer had going on wouldn't be worse for me than just straight up having a worse team around. Like Justin Fields literally has nothing but Darnell Mooney.
Man was calling calling out grown men like in the locker room. Like, nah.
I mean, that stuff wouldn't bother me. At the end of the day, I just go play football. At least I have somebody to throw the ball to and an offensive line to protect me. Justin Fields out there, just nobody. Like, I don't know. I take the Urban Meyer distraction and at least give me a slightly better roster. Me personally. But I think at the end of the day, though, like to answer your question, I think they're gonna be straight this year. I think they're I mean, we played them week 1, and I think we should beat them, but I don't think it's a cakewalk. I don't think we about to just walk in there and beat them 28-7. I'm not super like we about to. This is an easy dub. Write it off as a win already.
I don't think we rout any team this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our way.
It's just our way. Yeah,
good teams and play bad against bad teams.
Well, hey Joseph, I think Carson Wentz will throw for 4K, 20 touchdowns and 29 interceptions. I think that can happen. I mean, if he actually plays, 4K, 20 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. I feel like that's a Carson Wentz stat line right there.
He had 27-7 last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he played for the Colts though. Like the
Colts had a better
offensive line.
Not
all because their pass blocking was way worse than ours though.
Yeah, but
we have better receivers.
I don't know. I'm just thinking like I don't trust them. I don't trust Carson Wentz, especially when we go to the Eagles. Fans gonna be doing them. He's going to throw interceptions. Jalen Hurts is going to outplay him.
Nah, I don't. I mean, I personally don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I don't think
Rich, he is better than Daniel Jones, but he ain't better than Mac Jones. Like, I know you know that.
You think Mac Jones is going to be better than Carson Wentz this year?
Yes.
Do I think?
Yeah.
I know.
I
know.
I'll take Mac Jones.
Mac is going to be a breakout. He's going to be a breakout.
But
I think he's going to be more consistent, but I don't think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz, especially peak-wise. I was
going to say, Wentz definitely has a higher ceiling.
Mac. He's going to be a star. Bill Belichick's like, nah, you're under my wing. We're going to make you the next Brady.
There's just no way as a Commander fan that like you don't feel better that you got Wentz now than over Heineken.
Than anybody we've had for 10 years.
We literally have had bench backups for the last couple of years.
Quarterbacks have been? No, couldn't be me. Couldn't be a fan of that. Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Here we go. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's how bad your quarterbacks. That's crazy.
Who's our kicker this year? So I know who to hate on this year.
Oh no, Joey Sly straight. I like Joey Sly as a kid. He's way better than I can't even remember his name because I deleted it from my brain.
Who, Hopkins?
Yes, he's way better than Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't remember.
I think the
considering
only kick Joey Sly missed was the one that got blocked. I think before he got hurt because he was trying to tackle somebody after the block.
Was it him? Who was the one that was kicking them low?
His name is a bad name for kicking too. Dang, what's his name? Oh, Chris Blewett. Chris Blewett. Chris Blewett.
Blewett. Why?
Why would you start a kicker with that name? Like you should already know the news headlines gonna go stupid with that.
Why we run through like 6 or 7 kickers this year, man? That
was bad. Because Joey Sly was good, then he got hurt, and then Brian Johnson was better than Chris Blewett and Dustin Hopkins. But I'm glad we got Joey Sly back. I think Joey Sly might be a franchise.
You got kicker. Nick Folk though.
We can't compete. I mean, the Patriots stay with a Hall of Fame kicker. I can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
that's just what y'all do. But
my final comment is definitely that I'm standing by it, and it is 1,000% true that Carmelo is the most overrated player of all time. There's no question, absolutely no question.
That's a good way to end
the love he gets for not accomplishing anything and not being.
He accomplished having the most money of a player during his time. That's a good accomplishment for me.
Hey,
that is a good accomplishment for me.
He well with that one.
I guess on an income level, yeah, that's phenomenal. But as far as an NBA player, that's just this man is just
played for the Knicks. What do you expect to accomplish playing for the Knicks?
But he did that to himself
because he wanted money. To me, that doesn't take away from his legacy. He just
1,000% takes away from his legacy.
It's his job. He plays basketball for money. I want to take the most money possible. I don't want to be third fiddle to Wade and LeBron. Like, no, I want the money.
All right, there's a couple of people on the top 75 list, right, that we have never seen play, right, because they're in the 50s and stuff like that, right? And they obviously can barely dribble the ball. They can barely do this, but they have all these. They have accomplishments like championships because they play with Bill Russell, right? Or
I don't even take stock into that top 75. It's all just like just all connections. Like it's just a club for connections. That's why Dwight Howard's not in there.
But hear me out. Well, Dwight Howard should be over Carmelo. That's number one. Number two,
I could argue with that too. I could say
they have the championships, right? Or they were the best at doing something before anybody else did it, right? So like, I forgot the white dude's name, but he was like the best shooter at the time, right, or something like that, and that's why he's on the list. Plus, he has those championships with Russell and stuff like that, right? So you
want to say Larry Bird, but I was thinking of something else.
No, he's talking about spot up.
So you got those two things, right? Plus the actual ability, your talent, and how you played in your career, right? And Carmelo, if you add all those three components up, Carmelo is the worst out of all of it because he was never like one of the best players. He just wasn't, right? Because you had Kobe and LeBron in that era, and your boy Wade, right? So there's that. Then he doesn't have any accomplishments.
He could probably go after that.
He might go after that, right? But that's three players right there in a span of like, let's just say 5-10 years, right? So there's that, and then he hasn't accomplished anything. Nothing. So you add those together, and he's
scoring titles.
What does he have?
Accomplishment.
He has 2 scoring titles. I know he has the one in this first year in New York, but I'm sorry, 2 scoring titles ain't gonna do it, especially if you're not putting up any other stats and not playing defense and not winning.
Look. Players got motivation. He just did the Bradley Beal route. Bradley Beal is the modern day Carmelo. Not saying he's good as Carmelo because he's not, but he's just taking the money. I don't care about being on a good team. Look, like Carmelo right now, he's just like, okay, now I'm trying to win the championship. But during this prime, he didn't care about a good team. He's like, hey, I just want money. I don't care about anything else. I want the money. I want the spotlight. I want all of that. I don't care about being I don't care about my legacy or whatever. Like, no, just pay me. And honestly, if I was an NBA player, I'll probably be the same way. Like, what is a ring? A ring is just a physical material object. Money is forever.
Don't do that.
You can buy a ring. You can buy one of those rings. I'm pretty sure a backup role player, if you want to pay them some money, like, hey, they could probably sell a ring to you. Like, you can buy that ring.
You know when it matters. By the way, y'all seen Deshaun Stevenson trying to sell his ring? Y'all seen that?
Exactly.
No, I didn't see that.
I did not. Yeah, I remember that. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Deshaun Stevenson is like, hey, look, I just want to sell this for money now.
He probably screwed up his bread, and B, he didn't contribute. That's why he want to get rid of the ring.
Hey, he could buy a ring. That money's forever. He got generational wealth. You see Melo's son right now? Melo's son is set. Like, they got generational wealth.
You win on that one. you can have that W on the generational wealth. I'll give you that.
That's what Bill is setting up for. Like $50 million a year, he got generational wealth. He trying to be the second billionaire, the second active billionaire after LeBron James. He's trying to be that.
But yeah, man. Well, any last thing just to make sure, like anything besides that before we dip up out of here?
No, I think we can leave it at that. You said Melo's overrated. We can leave it at that.
That is a fun way to end it. That should be the title.
I'll say this also, that I'm with you, Rico, on the obviously with the Commander take, bro. I'm not hearing the hate on Commanders,
yeah,
bro.
Easily minimum 9 games.
Easily 9 games, bro. We're gonna be over 500. You got to be over 500. I'll actually take 500. If we end up 8-1, I'll take that. It's better than the 7 wins that we got this year. So,
but all right, man. Make sure y'all pull up next week again at 7 p.m. Jalen, if you can make it next week as well. Of course, Seyi, I already know my boy Seyi gonna be there. So, man, everybody in the stream, make sure y'all pull up again 7 p.m. next week. We're gonna since we already broke into a lot of NBA free agency stuff, we're gonna talk about a little bit more of that next week. But we'll start to dive into a bunch of NFL music that came out. I saw something Joseph say about Mac Miller, so I might listen to that before we get to next week so that I can maybe talk about it. And yeah, man. And
I think he was talking about Mac Jones, but he just said Mac Miller. I think that's what it really was.
He said something about they really treat Mac Miller like the white Tupac. Man dropped his 4th album.
For real?
So I think he is talking about Mac Miller. I didn't know an album came out, but I guess I'll go peep it. But yeah, same time next week, 7 p.m. I'm assuming Seyi will be there.
No, not CP time. No CP time. I'll be ready.
Yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't even like you was asleep and was just like doing nothing. Ain't feel like getting up. At least you was doing something. But yeah, man, we'll catch y'all next week, man. We're gonna keep it going. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.